Alright. Great way to start the stream. Coughing. Live. I'm not as late as I thought I would be, so hopefully I didn't kill people. But the wait times. Punctuality is so important, of course. Oh, I forgot. I gotta charge my phone. I'll be right back, people. I am here. Do it live. Okay. Chill mode has engaged. First question of the evening is, can anybody guess where this photograph is taken? This is taken from my most recent adventure. Does anybody recognize this sculpture? Perhaps the location that it was taken at. It's a really, really awesome trip, and it's why I'm doing this, actually, as opposed to having a video that'll release tomorrow, because I'm going to work on the video that this is associated with all through the weekend to release it for next week. It's going to be quite a major project to get it up to scratch, so to speak. But a project I'm really, really excited on. You guys let me know, too, if the music's too loud or my mic's too low, or... you know, if there's any issues like that. Because, yeah, last time I started the stream, I didn't even have the mic on, so that was really messing with people. Oh man, Friday night. Took some effort to get here. Welcome, Squiggly and Marshall, to the stream. Welcome, Jordan, if you're still here. And whoever else I've not seen show up in the comments there. Good evening, Blackbane WH. Good evening. And good evening, Germany. Good to always hear from Germany. I have a good friend that I play with on Destiny right now. He's from Bavaria. That's very, very cool. Don't know how popular the stream will be this evening because it is, it's kind of at odds with the West Coast. Basically, it's like, well, let's check. I got this clock for when I release videos. It's 4 in the morning over in LA, so we're not going to see a lot of action off of the West Coast, and that's where a lot of the audience, I think, comes from. But hey, can't always be making videos for the West Coast. Got to get people all around the world hanging out. Hello, Jason. Hello, Daniel. There you good. There you good. There you go. Working at home in England? Right on. Curious, what do you do, Daniel? What's work at home? Nobody has guessed yet. Maybe nobody knows. This is a really cool sculpture that's at the Minato Mire station, which is basically in Yokohama, and that's where I was at. That if you follow me on my social media for Instagram, where I've been posting all these pictures. 7 p.m. in China, right on. We got China signing in, we got England signing in, we got Germany signing in. There's a real international connection happening here. Turn this down just a little bit, keep it that much more chill. Social media manager for different local companies. Well, that's interesting. I feel like that's a job that would sound so luxurious, but in actual fact, if you were managing social media for a large company of any kind, it would actually be a pretty tough job, because social media is a lot of the time where people go to like air their grievances about whatever the product is, whatever the thing is that you're doing. You know, I do not envy, you know, like Destiny 2's social media manager. Yeah, it kind of looks like a roller coaster, doesn't it? Yeah, it's got that vibe. It's got that vibe for sure. Yeah, it's just this cool structure, metal structure that they've done. This is New Mexico, good to see you in New Mexico. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for dropping by. Very, very cool to have you here. This one right here is Yokohama is kind of like famous for its like mini theme park that you can go to there. And they've got like, it was at the time that it was made, it was like one of the largest Ferris wheels in the whole world. And it gives you this killer view, which you will see later in the pictures that I've taken of the whole inner kind of like harbor area of Yokohama, which is pretty awesome. Right on. Welcome, Daniel. Working on an assignment. Get that assignment done. Yeah, sort of London Eye-ish kind of deal. You got it. Yeah. You got it. Okay. Saving up to move to Japan, Daniel. Noble. That's a noble cause. It's good to have a few bucks stashed away when you're making that jump over, because it can be costly when you're switching. Yeah, we got right up to the top of the thing. Actually, that's where we did whatchamacallit? We did the intro for the video. It's kind of like, I'll tell a cool story. It's like you guys get the pre-story on the video that you'll see me then put out in the following week. Huge hug from Italy. Oh, that's awesome. I was just talking in one of my classes today about how I want to visit Italy. So right back at you. Big hugs right back. Texas. Nice. See StarCraft 2. Oh yeah, what? Well, I've got to, I got to recount my earlier successes because of how I'd fallen before Jason. I used to, when the game first came out, like vanilla, Wings of Liberty. I used to be in Diamond, but then I didn't play as much. You got to play pretty intensely to get up to that rank, and then I kind of just leveled out at Platinum. Top Platinum, I would be like top 10 Platinum, but I didn't get back into to Diamond for quite some time after that. Hey Joseph, what's poppin'? Long week, an eventful week, a really exciting week. And just as much the same thing for the weekend. I don't got any plans to go into Tokyo or anything, but it's going to be all work on this new video that I'll be putting out next week, which is beer drinking madness. Lone Wolf, yes, I can see that. Is there any film schools or jobs in Japan to take part of? Maybe you mean part-time jobs? I don't know about film schools, but I do know that there's a lot of modeling and TV jobs that you can get if you lived in Tokyo. That's something I would love to do, which I'm kind of, excuse me, I'm limited from doing. I've had talent agencies approach me and they were like, yeah, you sign up with us. And I know it's like, this is no silver lining, or I mean, maybe there's a silver lining, but it's not as glamorous. That's the word I'm looking for. It's not as glamorous as you might think, and it's hard to get like a lucky break in it. But you can get like an additional permission on your visa to allow you to do these extra gigs. And so you can be a teacher, but then you can get this extra permission on your visa to allow yourself to do stuff like modeling or commercials or acting or whatever. And it's something that I absolutely want to do, but it's on such a like random schedule that if that's your intention, you've got to basically live in Tokyo, because they could basically phone you up the day before and say, hey, it's tomorrow, you need to be there all day, and we need confirmation today that you can make it. And unless you're living there, it's not so much something you can do. And I live way out in the countryside, so not until I live in that area is it going to be a possibility for me. But I mean, that's the aspiration I have. I'm thinking of actually moving to the Yokohama area in the coming years. That's kind of a goal, tentatively amorphous goal. I don't know exactly how or what. I mean, if I could basically be doing YouTube full-time, that's where I would go. I wouldn't need the additional job. I'd just be a YouTuber. But if I can't do it straight YouTube, and then I'll probably find some other means to get there, and then that would allow me to get into these other cool gigs, which I think would be great additional exposure if you're already running a channel. I've never spoken to her, but I believe that Charla has done a lot of TV stuff, although she's had some negative things to say about it, just like that they're kind of like using you a lot of the time, very show busy. And I know that Taylor R, another media mogul of YouTubing here in Japan, that she does a lot of modeling, but she's got that, you know, young, blonde, beautiful girl thing going on, so I don't think I'd be doing quite the same thing. I'd have to be going for rustic man. That would be my kind of gig. Mark Andrews, it's a jet application time for the next few weeks. Okay, there you go. Flying 2, nice. Yeah, StarCraft 2 is awesome. I got the excuse me, I got the recent expansion, but then I never I didn't really play it that much, just a little bit. How's Star Wars World in Japan? I do not have tickets yet. I mean, it's funny, like, I really enjoy the Star Wars movies, but I'm not quite the rabid fan that other people are. Like, I'd way rather see the new Blade Runner, nobody spoil anything, by the way, which is coming out next week here, which I'm really stoked about. Masters all 3 races. Jesus, Dane, that's that's insane. That's an incredibly high level of skill. That really, really is. All right, cool of you to drop by, Jason. Catch you later. How far away do you live from Tokyo? You're Yokohama, roughly speaking. About 2 hours by train. Yeah, about 2 hours by train. Yeah, Marshall, I sent you the message on Patreon. You were saying, like, you want to get together for a drink in December, which is totally cool. And I sent you a message there. I was like, you got to resend those dates or send them to my Gmail address or whatever, because I looked it up and I couldn't see anywhere, and I couldn't see the dates that you suggested. Maybe you posted it in the community section on the YouTube channel. That's the one place I didn't look. Now, I suddenly realized that that's where I should have checked that out. Nice, Unseen Haze. Welcome to the stream. You made it. Where are you living? You can be vague. Thank you, Ben. I'll be vague. I live in, what should we call it? It's Ibaraki. Ibaraki Prefecture. Ibaraki Ken. That is my prefecture. I did not pick up the Nintendo Switch. I mean, the only reason I could see for having that system is for the, what's it called? Zelda, which would be awesome, but I just did not have enough of a pull to play Zelda. What's the draw to Yokohama? Oh, that's a good question, Black. Yokohama is insane proximity to Tokyo, so you get Tokyo basically. You're like 20, 30 minutes away. And Yokohama has this awesome, just as developed as Tokyo vibe, but way more laid back. And it's got the beautiful inner harbor. You get a lower cost of living because you're not in Tokyo. It's just like being in an amazing mega city that gets a lower cost of living and has insane proximity to Tokyo. Also, I've got buddies in Kyoto. I love visiting Kyoto. It puts me that much closer to visiting there, which would be amazing. It's the birthplace of beer in Japan. If you didn't know, in 1869, the first beer distillery was opened in Japan, and it was actually a foreign Kirin beer, which is actually the first beer whatever in Japan. It was opened by like a Dutchman or something, one of the initial people who was trading with Japan, and that was done in Yokohama, so they got a great beer culture going on there, and I'm a fan of the beer. There's a lot. I mean, Yokohama is just awesome. It's long, good. I want it to be long. Hello, Delaron. Welcome to the stream. I'm sure I've said that wrong so many different times. But yeah, so basically, let's flash through some of these pictures here. So I went to Yokohama the last weekend, and my buddy, amazing guy. He works in like environmental design, saving the planet, basically. We met each other in high school. We went to a boarding school. I didn't board at the school, but we went to a boarding school. He boarded. He wasn't from the area that it was in. I was a quote-unquote day student. And I was assigned to his room. We were really, really good friends. He put up with me storing clothes at his place. He's a nice guy that way. We rode together, had great success with it. And a part of his story is that he actually used to live in Japan, and he actually specifically used to live in Yokohama. So it was this crazy thing where he told me about his life in Japan when we were growing up, and then lo and behold, he comes and visits and sees his dad here. His dad, now this is crazy. I was hobnobbing with some crazy people in the previous weekend. Really fascinating people. His dad was like the deputy ambassador of Canada to Japan. That was his dad's position. His dad is retired, and now it's his wife, this wonderful woman, who's taken over. And so before we went to Oktoberfest, which is what we visited, I went to visit them at the Canadian Embassy and chatted up with the deputy ambassador to Japan. And she was just awesome, like this level-headed. You'd think that that would come with a, like, somebody, you know, they might have a little bit of pomp and circumstance surrounding them in it being a position like that, but she was so level-headed. I mean, she really did she did service, did, you know, justice to the position that they hired somebody who should be in it. And it was so cool. Like, their house was so beautiful. It was so interesting to speak to her, somebody in that position, and so crazy to meet up with my buddy who, like, this is, I think it's been something like 12, 15 years since he's been in Japan, something crazy like that. And so we got him out. We went to this Oktoberfest, and it was a blast. Here's some cool shots. This is like on top of the Ferris wheel, looking back out over the skyline. Here's a really good shot. This can kind of show everything off to you, where you're like, this is the little Cosmo world. And then where I'm looking out from, there's like a whole nother group of, what is it? Attractions and rides that you could go on. Okay. Been to Ibaraki. I fell asleep on the Scuba Express. There you go. You've checked it out. Okay. The DS also started to slow. Now it's got a crazy about games. Oh, what's so Andy's got, hey Dave, nice streaming. What are we doing here, bud? Is YouTube messing with your videos and demonetizing your videos? Funny you should say that, Andy. Yeah, it's demonetized every single one of the videos that I've uploaded in the last 4. And the most recent one that it demonetized was me giving my top 5 tips that you should know before coming to Japan, where the majority of the tips had to do with saving you money on the costs of getting a vehicle, as well as how to get a phone contract. And they demonetized me. That bot algorithm they have is pathetic. There is no better word for it. I'm like, it is an embarrassment to Google. That's the best thing I could possibly say about it. Like, you got to be kidding me. Like, they demonetized my video where I was talking about escapism as a problem for people and how they should identify if the reason they're coming to Japan is escapism. They demonetized a video where I just did a day in Tokyo. They demonetized this video. Absolutely everything. Oh man, it is pathetic what's going on right now. Actually, funny story too. Like, everybody knows I got this like appreciation for Abroad in Japan. Abroad in Japan, he's got great videos that he makes, and I've got notifications on for his videos. And I went to his channel, and he was talking about it. He made a video about it recently where he's saying this is a frustrating thing that's going on right now. And I put a comment where I was like, I'm right there with you, man. It's bullshit, and I'm getting everything demonetized, from like doing a tour of a mall to talking about escapism. They're demonetizing me. And everybody appreciated the comment so much that I got like 600 upvotes, and it's some of the best subscribership that I've had on my channel in the last like half a year, because everybody noticed that comment and then came over to subscribe on my channel. I got like 90 subs from it. It was awesome. That was such a weird, serendipitous, like random way to have had some success, and it was from a legit comment. I wasn't trolling for subscribers off of his channel. I wouldn't dream of that. That's like the rudest thing you can do to somebody. But it totally worked out. Yeah, nice little amusement park, right? Pretty cool. Oh, that's a good view too. I wish I didn't have these bars in the side, but that's actually a really cool view of it right there. Yeah, and then down in like a section here, a lot of these people, you can see this boat kind of in the corner. Actually, my face is blocking the boat. That's okay. And near that boat, there's like this basketball net set up, and people play like kayak basketball. It's kind of this cool thing that they do there. Can I learn 190 kanji by December? Yeah, absolutely you could, Impossible. That's totally doable. All you need for that is just commitment to a schedule. What is that, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10? Oh yeah, man, if you did like 15 a day, no problem. Do 20 a day. But you're just like, you do that 20 and review the 20. Do a 20, review the 20. It's going to be pretty merciless. It's not going to be fun. You're not gonna like it in terms of entertainment, but you could absolutely do it. Your English is great, 32 Connect, so don't ever worry about that. Never apologize again for your beautiful English. By the way, would you come to Italy to teach or just be vacation? That's what I would go to Italy for, and I mean to appreciate the country. I mean, the more I learned about Italy's economy is basically based on Italy makes specialty awesome things. That's what they do. Their whole economy is based on, they produce not a ton of stuff, but whatever they produce is like the best in the world. And I just always thought it was like, and it's known for being this famously beautiful country as well. And I thought, how cool of a place would that be to visit? I don't know. I think it's just it's an admirable culture for whatever other issues it may have. Like, it's a pretty amazing place. Demonetization bot is ridiculous. Yeah, in the first day or so. Yeah, Daniel, it's been it's broken. It is utterly broken. The one thing that I take some solace in knowing is that the people at Google know this. So I don't know exactly. I know they got to be working this out right now. There's no way they don't know it. It's just a matter of what they're going to do with it. So that's where we got to see where the question goes. Yeah, Andy, it's like no one is safe from. That's how utterly broken it is. Like, I don't go out of my way to make family-friendly content. I don't mind. I swear occasionally. I don't make a point to swear or to not swear. I've always just made what I thought was good stuff, and coincidentally, that stuff that I made has a pretty, like, you don't need to be. It's not censored. It's not explicit content in any way. But even then, it's just been shocking. I wake up and I'm like, so I went on a trip around a mall that got demonetized. It's insanity what it's currently at, which is another reason why things like Patreon, things like donations and all that stuff matter so much, because it's hit everybody where YouTube can basically be a full-time job, and where you might use that little bit of ad revenue that you were making to basically do minimal funding, whatever you were going to do, that you can't even do that currently. Like, I am so grateful to the people on Patreon, because I'm not immune to it, but I feel that I'm definitely head and shoulders above many people who have absolutely no crowdfunding support, and probably don't even. The big thing that they've done is that if your video doesn't reach 1,000 views, then you cannot appeal the demonetization until it reaches 1,000 views. And so small YouTubers, they're just left out. They're just done. It's like you have no chance. Of course you can still make your videos, and I would still advise people at that stage of the game that you just make them, because you're not actually thinking of numbers at that point. You're not like, oh no, I lost my $1 of ad revenue on the video that I made or whatever. But where so much work goes into this, and you need to have such a solid mindset, something as powerfully, discouraging, something so powerfully discouraging as that is really stifling to a community of creators. I will never give up. I mean, you could demonetize everything for me. I could make $0 off of YouTube for the next 5 years, and it wouldn't stop me. But I'm sort of like obsessively driven in that way, and I don't think that everybody is. And I don't think that everybody should have to be either. Good morning, America. I'm impressed. If that's West Coast America, then I'm even more impressed. Yeah, it's really, really fascinating, Harry, to think, like, what kind of... It's inconceivable to me now. I'm like, I wonder what competitor would come in to do it. Would it be Facebook? Could they swoop it up in some way? How would they go about it? But it seems inconceivable now just because that's the playing field right now, is that there is no competitor. But yeah, mark my words, I'm sure that there will be competitors that enter the arena. Who knows how long YouTube would be able to monopolize the creator space for how long. And I'm not totally discouraged. Like, I think people who probably are also impacted by this the most are people who've not really persevered through much in their lives. Where to me, I'm just like, oh, you know, if it wasn't this, it was that. If it's not demonetization, then the algorithm isn't kind to you. If it's not the algorithm being kind to you, then it's this kind of person is the only person who's popular on YouTube now. None of that means shit to me. All I care about is better quality content and continuing to educate myself, and I believe that that's transcendent in all cases. So don't you guys worry, I won't be going anywhere. This'll never take me down. Went to Osaka, Kyoto, Tokyo last year. Planning on going over again next year. Yeah, of course. I'm always down for beers. I was just posting. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't in Japan, but coming up on next Friday, I'll be in Tokyo because I want to make a Halloween video on the Friday night and go in, do the costume thing, all that fun stuff. And if people are there, I'm happy to do like selfies and grab drinks with people and yada yada yada. If you were a tourist guide, what would you show someone first in Japan? That would be totally seasonally dependent, my friend, Scrat. But if it were spring, I would take people to Nakameguro Canal, because that place is otherworldly. I've had a few transcendent experiences there with some wonderful people. The vibe is, dare I say, magical. It is amazing, and especially as evening descends and all the lanterns that line the canal come on slowly, and all the street food's amazing. And if it's later in spring, then I should know by now the name of it, but you get this kind of like shower of sakura petals, and it's otherworldly, peaceful, awesome, just this amazing vibe that you only get in Japan, given all these different factors coming together. That would be the first place in spring. Are there going to be more Restaurant Tokyo vids with Asagi and I? Any more food vids? I doubt that very much. I doubt that very much. Yeah, I almost loathe my family friendliness being too much. I'm like, I need to add more edge to this. No, I don't care. Basically, it's like I don't care about falling into any category other than making good stuff. So if it's family friendly, sure, it's family friendly. Whatever. Just want to make good stuff. Daniel, do you think it's because Japan is slightly topical at the moment in the sense of ongoing Korean drama, and that's why it's doing it? I do not think whatsoever. No way, Daniel. Just the way everybody, like, whether somebody makes a video about, like, I saw somebody posting, what was it? It was like they were talking about taxes or something. Like, it is just the most ridiculous stuff right now that's getting flagged. Like, things that somebody could go on there and be like, this is my dog Fluffy, we have a strong relationship, he enjoys walks, we have common interests. That would get flagged. It is broken right now. I can only imagine the engineers are either laughing or crying who have worked on this, because they gotta see, it's not bad, it's comedically bad. Like, it's beyond them trying to do something intelligently. Something has gotten flipped in the code, because it is ridiculous. Let's do... Lewis says, hypothetical, if you had the opportunity, would you accept a lifetime employment contract at a Japanese company? I assume that you plan to live in Japan for the rest of your life. You should never assume, Lewis. No, if I had some... I play things by ear. Primarily, I'm interested in being a creator and supporting myself creatively. I have other goals going alongside of that that may evolve my jobby job, as I like to put it. But I don't know ever about working at a specifically Japanese company, because I still think that the Japanese company work ethic is that, we're talking about broken things tonight, that is totally broken. They have no, I mean, many companies, I'm sure some are changing, but there's a real disparity between what is productive and what is you just staying in the office for a long time. It's no mystery why, like, the Japanese have serious problems with people taking their own lives. An incredibly balanced society, you know, I always hedge this alongside the fact there's a lot to be appreciated, but overwork and unproductive work, working only to appear as though you're working, is a real issue in Japanese companies, and it's just something that I'm completely at odds with. I mean, that's my whole thing about YouTube, is that it's finally a place where I can escape all inefficiencies, where what I work on is specifically designed to improve. I maximize productivity, I maximize efficiency, I maximize creativity. And going from like that like just so fulfills me, even on the small scale that I'm doing it now, to going to a place where all that really mattered was not how efficient or creative or productive you are, but how long you sat at a desk, I'd go nuts. I'd go nuts. You heard about the hurricane? It jumped. You heard about the hurricane coming towards Kanto region. They expect it to arrive by Monday. Yes, I have. I think even over this weekend, like, I'm definitely gonna have big, crazy rainstorms here. That's always nice to chill inside, work on a video and edit. Oh, cheers. Thanks very much, Mark. It's, there's some ego stroking. That feels good. Offline. What? Okay. What is going on? This is still streaming. Internet is still working. Oh man, is it because I talked about YouTube needing to fix things? I think they saw what I was saying, guys, and they shut down the stream. There's powers at work here. There's powers at work here that are shutting me down. Hopefully that's okay. Well, anyways, whatever has happened. Yeah, I appreciate that, Mark. I mean, I hope something that, although I wonder, I think people, it's a sort of thing where it's probably noticed subconsciously, but the fact that I just dropped some cash once again to improve the channel, and the last two videos that I've made, that was the top 10 video and as well the top 5 tips for coming to Japan, I've upgraded the mic. I've gotten one of these like Rode Mic Pros for the channel, and that was the hugest thing. It bothered me. I know people said it in the comments, but it bothered me too. And that's like, talk about, maybe I had things in the wrong order. I should have had that before I had the new camera, but that's going to make things so much better now. I'm really excited for that. And the video that I will work on tomorrow, that I'm working on editing, yada yada, I made that whole video using this new mic, so the sound quality is going to be just awesome. Yeah, that's right, testing. Not only Chris from abroad in Japan, me, it's everybody. It's absolutely everybody. That's almost why I don't feel as bad about it too. I'm like, I do not feel singled out. Right now it's raining on us all. It's raining on us all. Kampai, Will, good to see you. Oh, cheers, 32. Yeah, Canada's a really, I mean, I love going back there every single year. Seriously, like, it is such an amazing place to visit. I haven't done enough East Coast. I think I could do more East Coast. I'd love to have somebody I knew there that I could do like a cool, kind of like visit with them, and they could host me so I could see, you know, how to enjoy Toronto. But Vancouver is, what would I call it? Disarmingly beautiful and amazing to visit during the summer. I absolutely love it. Just an amazing place to go. I'm 25, been in school since and dropped out and got me a GED. Never paid attention in high school. Will that make college more muskashi? I just didn't apply myself. No, not at all, Lone Wolf. You're fine. Honestly, so much of what study is, and success while studying in any of these courses, is a will to do so. And most of, I'd say, where people fail in high school is a result that they haven't yet developed the will. They don't know what it is that they want. And I think quite fairly, they question why they even should. Because there's a lot of really ridiculous subjects and ridiculous content that's fed to us when we are at that stage in our lives, which I think definitely discourages interest in it. Where when you go back to college and you have an interest in what you're doing, an interest in whatever it is that you're learning, your passion and your determination will decide your success in the end. So don't even worry about it. I mean, that's why I love so much self-teaching on the internet, because it's totally driven by your interest in your goals. And YouTube can teach you anything now. Everything I know, all the editing that I've learned, it's all mentors that I've found through different channels online. Could I tell you how to get a scholarship? It's going to cost me, and scholarship exchange is going to cost me. I don't know. I mean, I always try to be very careful about handing out advice on things that I have no experience with, and scholarships are just something I have no experience with in Japan. So, best leave that to someone else. How long did it take me to write Stoneheart? That's a good question. Stoneheart, I was working at a junior high school at the time that I was writing that, and so it definitely took me not so much time, because I had more time to work on it. So I would say it took me probably about half a year to write it, which could have been done even sooner if I had been more determined. And then probably about between 2 to 3 months to edit it, because it went through like at least, I would say at least 7 or 8 edits, like full run-throughs again and again and again and again to make sure that it was up to snuff. And because I didn't have your kind of traditional paths through editing, so I wanted to make damn sure, you know, I was the one who was giving it the final go-ahead. I didn't have an editor to say that it was in that condition that it could be released. So all told, probably around just under a year to get the whole thing done.
They're all crazy.
No, but what if Polly is too? The way she...
Holy shit, do I spy? Hey, okay. Well, that is official. Marshall, thank you for opening up the donations tonight. You are the Shiznizzle Snap Whip Whap Bam. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And that will go directly into a beer fund. I will start a jar and I will put that in for when you visit, and we will directly put that towards the drinking of the beers. So thank you so much, everyone. Small round of applause. Slow 80s. Slow clap for our friend Marshall Hill in the stream today. Really, really appreciate the donation. Any specific questions? Go for it. Ask me, Marshall, and I'll bump you up to the top here. How is the speed in Japan? I'm sure you mean the speed on the roads. Well, it's very, very slow. On the roads, it's like 40 kilometers on little side roads. Max, you get like 50 kilometers. It's not fast unless you get onto the toll roads, in which case it's super fast. Super fast. Question from Ben, do you still write much or focusing more on video making now? Because I moved into a new job where I had to do so much more work, it really stripped away my ability to write alongside while making videos, and so I had focused on making videos, but there was a whole series, and I'm sure people who have been in the stream before, they're going to hear this every time I'm in the stream. I've been working on another series. It's called The Minder, and it's a dark fantasy sci-fi, and I've gotten about 70,000 words written for it so far, but that was just totally paused out because of everything else that was going on in my life. But so I do not write right now, but I will return to that, and it's only a matter of time, because I really feel like I've kind of found my stride with things again at the job that I have now, with the videos that I'm making, and I absolutely love writing. It's like the most meditative, most rewarding, most amazing thing. It is a sort of like, there's a word I learned recently that it's like you do something for no other reason than to do that thing, and it's called autolytic, and it is one of the most autolytic activities that I participate in where I just love doing it to do it. And then it just so happens that it has this amazing offshoot afterwards that you have a book and you get to share that with people afterwards. Shout out from Mogadishu. That's crazy. I don't know if we've ever had some from Mogadishu in here before. Watching from Korea. Right on, Kyle. Thanks so much. That's crazy. People from Korea checking in. Kyle, if I ever come over to do videos in Korea, can we hang out? I need somebody to show me around. Why did you stop using the Canon G7X for your videos? Why? Because I got a Sony a6500 with a Sigma 30mm lens. I went from using an $800 camera to what collectively probably cost around like $2,500. It's way better. The sensor's way bigger. I have interchangeable lenses. I have a professional mic attached to the new thing. It's just... Look up a comparison between the Canon G7X and the Sony a6500 and you will see why I switched. Can you recommend your favorite off-the-beaten-path destination in Japan? Off-the-beaten-path destination. What would be off-the-beaten-path? I would, but they're tied up in the experience of that time in my life where you might not find those places so incredible if you went compared to others. It's just I was there with interesting people and had good times, but I've gone for really, really, really cool walks around this temple called Narita-san. I mean, Narita Airport is like right next to it. So I don't know that that's so off the beaten path, but there's some really beautiful streets in there. There's a famous restaurant for unagi that you can go to. It's a really, really cool area. Greetings from Florida. Right on. Welcome to the stream. Planning a trip throughout Japan. Would love to meet up for beers. I am an avid beer drinker. Actually, let's move on. Oh, hey, there's a cool shot. This is more of the Yokohama Inner Harbor. Look at that. That is definitely where Batman works. Oh, that's a bird. Just finished my master's in publishing and copy editing in the module I hated the most, so I don't envy you. Yeah, the editing is what is the line from Stephen King? He's like, to write is human, to edit is divine. Like, it's such an essential part of the process. It's absolutely essential. But it's definitely very, very grindy. It's not that like you're sitting with a glass of wine and doling your thoughts of the world out onto a page. It's much more nuts and bolts, much more, I guess you could kind of appreciate it from that more like you're building a Lego, you know, like, or building a house, and you got to be exact with everything and understand the rules of everything, and it can still be fulfilling, but definitely not in the same way that I find writing is, obviously. I'm sorry if you explained this before in a video, but what was your reason to moving to Japan in the first place? Nothing wrong with asking that question. Reason for moving to Japan in first place, I'll do the abridged version to save people. Hello from Australia, by the way, Brisbane Rugby. To save people who have heard this a million times. Basically, I had this friend. He's in the house tour that, if you want to see him, he's in the house tour video that I did when I went to Kyoto, and I did the Kyoto Machiya. His name's Drew, and when I was 10 years old, and he was as well, he came over to Japan because his parents were working here, and he was such a close friend that I really wondered where he'd gone. And in that time in your life when everything is magical, Japan held this special place in my mind, and I got attached to it, and I wanted to learn about it, and I grew fascinated by it, and I read all these books about it. And then I thought I would one day go over and live there because it was so amazing, and maybe I would see my friend there one day. And time passed, as it does, and I fell in love with a beautiful girl with blonde hair and blue eyes. Gorgeous, unbelievable, wealthy, intelligent, great bosom, heaving bosom. She had it all, people. And we were in a relationship for 3 years, and I thought that this was the woman that I would marry. I thought that I would get the white picket fence, and it would be a beautiful thing, and all would be well in the world, and I could see the end of my life till my death with children and my beautiful wife. And then it was cruelly torn from me, the fact that there is no perfect love, and love can die, and nobody is perfect, and everybody's got to grow, and nothing is guaranteed, and love doesn't save everything. And that relationship came to an end after 3 years, and I grew a great deal in it, but then I suddenly had this great epiphany, this great revelation afterwards, that the white picket fence is not all that you should seek, and the white picket fence is not guaranteed to you by any stretch of the imagination. And I realized that just meeting somebody and marrying was not the end-all to the whole experience that life could have, and it was actually quite liberating, because by having that sort of those blinders ripped off, I saw so much more potential, and I was reminded of the dream that I once had from my amazing friend Drew that I've mentioned in this video. And he said, Dave, you always had that aspiration to go to this place, and what would stop you now, because you're not in this long-term relationship? And I said, God damn it, Drew, you know what, you're right, I did always have that dream, and now that I see all this newfound potential in front of me, why don't I go and pursue that dream? And when I go there, now that I see the potential in life, and I can see it all around me, maybe when I'm there, I could share a little bit of that experience that I found in my own with other people, and maybe a little bit of hope in the darkness that it rains on us all, and I could start a YouTube channel and then share my experiences, and whether it was to get people over here or to coach people through whatever experiences they had, or just to talk to somebody who needed somebody to talk to, I would do a YouTube channel. And so that's where we're at. I utterly failed in making that the abridged version, but that's kind of the version. People who hear that are probably like, each time I'll probably like embellish details more and more. You know, at first she'll start out, she was a beautiful woman with a B cup, and then the next time I'll be like, and you should have seen the F cup. You know, it'll get ridiculous. Okay. What? No. Marshall, I didn't mean to ignore your question. Where was your question, Marshall? Oh, Marshall. What was your question? Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to go to the very bottom of the questions. Oh, yeah. Yeah, what was your question, Marshall? God damn it. Yeah, that was the abridged version, Mark, believe it or not. Okay, I'm going back up. I'm looking through. Magic the Gathering? Is that what that is? I'm Ron Burgundy? Yeah, I go to Busan. Ireland checking in. Okay, I found my spot. So, doing more vlogs. Here's the thing, Fokker. Vlogs, the way that I like to do them, is a cinematic vlog. I don't want to just do like one shitty edit from here I am eating a bowl of salad to here I am doing this to here I am doing this. Like, I like to make them a little more cinematic, a little more beautiful, a little more thought out, a little more of a presentation, and a little more of a story that takes time and care and effort. And so that means that I do have to take more time between me doing them. I'm not a daily vlogger, and maybe I might evolve into that, where again, if I had like total free time and I was doing this full time and I had nothing but it to do, but as long as I have a full-time job, I have to adapt to the situation that my availability gives me. So I would prefer to do much more high production value vlogs, call them like documentary-esque sort of things, more like Abroad in Japan, than just like a vlog where you're doing random shit day to day, where somebody could make a coffee and it would get like 100,000 views. Something more like also Simon and Martina, where you could call what they're doing vlogs, but they're not. They're like way more a presentation, way more a documentary, way more an actual little mini film. So I'm gonna be doing those. Don't think that those aren't in the plans. Those are in the stars. Hello from Greece. Oh, we got a massive... Where is my Japanese girlfriend, HK? That's a good question. Where is she? Oh, loves Narita Sun Temple, so you're down. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not sure what MGTOW is. What is the best part-time job work after teaching English in Japan? Let's speculate. Let's say that if you could get some awesome, awesome modeling jobs where you just showed up and they paid you bank for being ridiculously, ridiculously good looking, then you'd be in good shape. What's your favorite PS4 game? That's going to be split between the player versus player in Destiny 2. I would say easily, I was just blown away by it, was The Last of Us. I beat that on Grounded, and I have the entire Let's Play on my Let's Play channel. Marshall, what was your question? I'm going to go to the bottom again and see if I can see your question. Okay. Okay. I'm quiet for a sec here just because I'm finding my spot in the questions. Do you think you're settled down with a Japanese girl in Japan? I just noticed, guys, because of my backlight, I'm being weirdly lit, so I'm going to turn that off so you can see my gorgeous face that much more. Okay. Okay. Do you ever think of settle down a Japanese girl in Japan? It depends on the girl. If I meet the right girl, maybe I would settle down in that way. Is dating an option right now? Dating is always an option. Top 3 Japanese craft beers. I haven't even had a lot. I know I tried one called Nest Beer, and that was really, really good. I enjoyed that. Hey Dave, how's it going? Just wondering the Japanese opinion on cannabis consumption. Canada and America are slowly legalizing. Canada, it's like I think it's by 2018, it's like full on legalized. Like they somehow jumped ahead of the US. I think they were like, oh no, we smoke the most weed. And they, the liberal, I mean, that was a platform issue that the liberals ran on. They were like, you put us into power and we will legalize marijuana. The Japanese treat, the expression in Japanese is zettai dame. And that means absolutely not, or you cannot do, or absolutely forbidden. And I would say because of the massive zettai dame regarding all substances, that the Japanese, okay, man, it is a holy sweet shit. I have to interrupt myself for a moment here. That's insane. I'm speechless. I'm not usually speechless. Thank you so much, Blackbane. That is an absurd, absurd donation. And that's also a fantastic idea. I've thought of doing the, like, $100 fruit compared to $50 fruit, but just like you've identified, it's not really something I can do, and I don't have that much money. But that's insane. From the bottom of my heart, man, thank you so much. That makes all the difference in the world. Unbelievable. Slow 80s hand clap. That's incredibly kind. I don't even have words to describe it. And I won't drivel on as well, because I think sentimentality beyond a firm thank you is just drivel, and people don't want that. They just want to be appreciated. So thank you very much. If you have a question, you and Marshall, provided I find Marshall's question again, I will absolutely answer it. Ridiculous. But what we were talking about there is really, really, really interesting. Regarding substances or illegal substances in Japan is a really, really interesting topic to talk about. So, because there's a couple contributing factors here. So the Japanese have an incredible respect for authority, to a fault, I would say. It's like you have in the West that people don't give a shit about old people, and young people have too much power. But then over in the East, you have that people respect old people, but to a point where it's like young people's thoughts and opinions aren't appreciated at all. This is an extreme of the way of looking at it, and all people aren't like this in Japan, just like all people aren't like that in the West. But because of that respect for authority, you don't have people so much question the current state of drugs. And so I think that there's far less the desire to explore altered states of consciousness in Japan. Not only that, then like I say, there's all these different tributaries feeding into the main vein. Because you have Zettai Dame holding over all of this. Oh, here's Marshall's question. Okay, thank you. I'm going to find that. Because you have that looming over everything, if you smoke weed in Japan, they'll put you away for like 7 years. Something insane. So, like, to talk about, like, first you're discouraged by, like, just the culture here that, no, don't question what people are, don't question. And then you have on top of that, that if you did question, that they're gonna come down on you like a hammer, like an anvil, then you don't have people exploring it, which then leads to one of the worst thing that exists in the world, which is naivety, where people associate things like weed, like smoking weed, with doing heroin in Japan, where obviously there's no connection between the two. Like, that's insane to think that heroin is somehow on the same wavelength. But because of the prohibitive culture surrounding it, that's the sort of way that people think about it, and you almost couldn't blame them because there's been no open dialogue for it, and so it's really closed off. And so it's fascinating, but if anybody's going to change their drug laws, you better believe Japan is going to be one of the absolute slowest to do so. Okay, now, before anything else happens, Marshall's question. Here's Marshall's question. Know of any place between Kyoto and Nagano to visit to see some snow in December? That is a fantastic question. Between those two places? I went to Nagano for snowboarding, so I think Nagano's really cool. I think Kyoto has a special old-timey Japanese, like people always say, the real Japan. Kyoto's really got that, so like Kyoto, you want to do some winter photography, Japanese photography, bam! Kyoto's an awesome place to go. And then I think tucked away in there somewhere, and this is a video I would love to do, I don't care how popular this is, I just want to go to it, because it would be so goddamn sweet. Would be to see the snow monkeys. Who doesn't want to see snow monkeys, right? So I'm thinking a snow monkey adventure is in the works. And Marshall, I would look up where the snow monkeys are, and maybe book yourself a ryokan, and you can even be in close proximity to the snow monkeys, and they look like little people. And National Geographic has done this cool thing where they've had the snow monkeys, and they've like scanned their minds. Or their brains, not their minds. That's a figure we don't actually know. That's sort of an ephemeral word. They've scanned them, and they like dream very similarly to humans, and they look like humans when they're chilling in these hot baths. They look like Japanese people in onsens, or anybody in an onsen for that matter. I would recommend snow monkeys. The answer to everything is snow monkey. Okay, now I'm gonna jump back. People want to know my opinion on men going their own way since I was discussing relationships. Again, to be careful to not speak too much on a topic I know nothing about. I see men going their own way is sort of like a counter-cultural movement to this sort of extreme feminism that people have seen in recent years. The sort of like, I think even like moderate feminists would agree that there's sort of like an extreme feminism that's arisen where it's like that sort of ultra PC, and I see men going their own way as sort of a response to that, where it's sort of like a check and balance, where like if women become too extreme with their feminist views, then men have responded with this men going their own way. But I think we can easily identify that anything at an extreme is usually a failure, because a reasonable mind borrows ideas from everywhere, and the more you take yourself out to an extreme, the more you limit the input that you allow in. And if you allow the input that you're experiencing life, forming your opinions from, then you're narrowing your perspective. And so I'm not saying whether men going their own way is a good thing or a bad thing. I see it as a cultural reaction to the sort of extreme feminism. If anybody was interested in it, it's like I would say to anything. Everything should be because you have an interest in it, and don't ever be indoctrinated and take from something what you see as having value. I'm always wary of clubs and cults and people who have now put themselves on the fringe of speaking to anybody else, or someone who's so they've had whatever beliefs so instilled in them that they won't allow for debate or open discussion. And that's the only thing I would caution against, that don't become indoctrinated by anything. So borrow what you like from men going their own way, but don't become indoctrinated by it, and keep a sort of objective mindset to, like, is this an actual reasonable opinion, or is this someone reacting because they're hurt so much by, like, some of the crazy shit that extreme women have been doing, but then they're starting to see that as representative of all women. That's what I would say, but, like, that's me kind of, like, from a observer's perspective. I've never really gone into it that much. That's my observer's perspective of the whole thing. Don't know a lot of it. What the... I didn't even see this. We have another donation. What is going on? Adil, Ahmed, thank you so much. We have another slow... I think I'll have to set up slow 80s hand clap into the, like, the sound. Actually, I wonder if I can do slow 80s hand clap. You know how they have the... We're gonna do that quickly. Okay. Here we go. It's happening. Alright. Yeah. I think this needed to be done. This needed to be done. I should have done it sooner. What is it? An amalgamation of slow claps. It's not just one. Damn it. I didn't realize how often this happened. Oh, that's funny. Okay. There it is. As soon as we get going, they keep stopping it. I hope this builds up. Yeah, now we're getting some speed on the hand clap. Yay. That is the sort of appreciation we have for the donations in the stream tonight. You guys are awesome. Making it happen here. Great appreciation from Dumbledore and all his friends. Yes, James, you made the, oh, that's too loud, I can't be talking. You made the live stream, and you made it at a fantastic time as we get the George Clooney slow hand clap. Alright, we don't want to overdo it. Cool Runnings, that was an excellent movie. Yeah. Everyone just, yes, this is good. Okay. Back to the brooding music. I'm gonna start from the top again. Let's start from the chill top. Okay, my friend came to London to visit me recently. She ended up getting groomed by a 70-year-old man because she didn't have any negative preconceptions about the elderly. What? Groomed? What do you mean? I don't understand. My pal is coming over from Hiroshima. There's somebody. There's somewhere I really want to visit. Really want to visit Hiroshima. I'm meeting him in London, and he wants me to bring... Yeah. That's, David, I'm just gonna encourage you right now, and I'm assuming other people have warned you in the comments down below. That is the really, really bad idea. So, that's all I'll say about that. Jibril Omar, when I first started watching your videos about a year and a half ago, I was compelled. Which music you use in the intro and throughout the videos, your video quality is superb. Can tell you take your time. Thank you very much. Yeah, and the more, actually most of them I take my time. Because I love it. I absolutely love it. It's the passion. It is the fire. Am I still teaching English, and how much do they pay me? The pay is hardly the point. It's more that I get a B here in Japan. But I do still teach English. I've been moved. I work at an elementary school, and I'm very, very lucky there. The people in the elementary school are an incredible staff, wonderful people. Let's move this picture along. Oh, that's trippy. Oh, this building is really cool. I kept like, yeah, that's cool. This is like, if you're looking at it from another direction, you basically see all the attractions, and then you like see this building behind it all, and it looks really, really, really cool. Okay. Thanks very much, Keith. I really, yeah, music is something, I mean, probably to a fault, I obsess over in the videos that I've been making, where I'm like, I really want it to make sense. I really want it to jive. Like, I really want the tone to make sense. And I'm always, 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 always suffering to try and find enough copyright-free music. But I think that's just part and parcel. Something that is really exciting. Now, this all feeds into the same story. That guy that I talked about, Tom, this guy that I'm going to make the Oktoberfest video with, who came over, who lived here, lived in Yokohama, and we went to Oktoberfest, and we got really drunk, and it was awesome. Tom and I played a lot of guitar through high school, at the very end of high school, when we got out of varsity sports, because we finally had time to do something else. And he's just developed into a full-on, like, virtuoso, one of his many talents. And something that he wants to do more seriously now is music production, and so we've gotten into a cool collaboration where he sent me over some songs that he's working on, and we're going to work them into the videos that I'm making. So I got like this cool collaboration going on, and the guy is virtuoso. He's very specifically a guitar virtuoso right now, and the whole production that he's working on is something entirely new, so he's got tons of room to grow because he basically has to bring up all those other abilities, like his drums, his mixing, his everything, his understanding of compressors, all this other like back-end software or whatever. But it's going to be really, really, really cool as he kind of comes online, because he said that he would love to have his music featured in the videos that I'm making. So that's really exciting. Maybe one day I'll get my music ability back up. I used to play tons of guitar. Maybe I'll get my own music in my own videos. I'll do the whole thing, one-man band. UKSCF, thank you. Gave a like and been a subscriber for a while. Thank you very much, man. That's awesome. Appreciate all the subscribers. Each and every one of you wonderful people filling up the stream right now. What made you want to continue to stay in Japan? Just came back to Canada after staying in Japan for a year and a half. Couldn't decide if I wanted to stay there or not, so I ended up coming back. I ended up continuing to stay in Japan because I see so much opportunity here, and because I love the sort of like ways I can challenge myself. I love that I can learn a language here and put it into practice while I'm here. That's awesome. And I love that as much as I could still work on YouTube were I to be back in Canada, I love how exotic it is here. I love how alien the whole experience is here. And I love how there's so much that I would still explore here. So that's kind of what it is. Life while I'm in Japan feels like a wonderful adventure. And so why not continue in that? That's my life. That's what I value. And so I find that here. Opiates such as fentanyl and synthetic heroin and legal in the US, such a terrible overprescribed. Japan has it right, just respect the laws. Nobody needs pot. Fair enough, that's a fair argument. Nobody needs anything. Except for air, water. I should be careful how I throw out that statement. I should be in a lecture about quantitative methods for computing right now, but DaveTrippin is live, boy. Exactly right, David. No need to be going to your classes. That reminds me of a young me at one point. I definitely, I made the mistake in university where I was like, I know what I'll do. I'll have lessons that start at 6 in the morning, and so that means I'll have to go to them because they're so early in the day. I definitely failed that class. Is there a specific degree that will help me get an English job in Japan, or does it matter? I think I would enjoy teaching, but would like to have options. I plan on staying very long term. I would suggest, if you're talking about long term, I would suggest linguistics and get a real mastery of the Japanese language, because that's what really gets you beyond a degree, like another better job. Say you could be an international coordinator at a university or something like that. So linguistics is really good.
What easy way? There is no easy way. No matter what I do, somebody gets hurt.
Would you stop thinking about what everyone wants? Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
Okay, again, sir, I'm just like looking through the questions, trying to find my place here.
I have to go.
Can you talk about your Halloween plans in Tokyo? Yes, I most certainly can talk about my Halloween plans in Tokyo. So everybody knows, it's incredible actually how Halloween in Japan was like nothing 10 years ago, and then it just blew up. As Instagram and social media grew, and Japanese was already kind of like ripe for this sort of costume culture because of cosplay and everything, it just blew up. And the center heartbeat of all of this is Shibuya Crossing, and they just shut down that whole area, and everybody shows up there for the whole Halloween weekend, and it is absolute madness. It's second place for my most edited, most worked on video was the video I did of Halloween. So if you want to know what it's kind of like, what's the Halloween thing in Tokyo, you can check out my previous Halloween video. And this year, I'm going back again. And this year, I'm going with Dean. And he's got his girl he's bringing out. His girl's bringing a friend. And he and I are both going to dress up as pilots. We're going to be like commercial line pilots. And the ladies on our arms are going to be dressed as stewardesses or air hostesses or whatever you want to call them. So we're going to have like the beautiful Asian air hostesses and us, the pilots, and we're going to go around and we're going to get pictures with people. I'm hoping to maybe meet up with some subscribers, do some pictures with them. And the video will be telling the story of that awesome night, going around, seeing all the amazing costumes that people have, having drinks, being joyous and celebratory, drinking in the open air as you only can. Well, maybe some other places allow public drinking, but in Japan they allow public drinking, and it's awesome. And so that's what we're doing. I've got a marathon. I'm going on Friday, and I have a marathon on Sunday, so I can't be too celebratory. But yeah, it's gonna be an awesome night to remember. A night to remember. Lewis says, you know, Dave, I actually don't want your channel to grow. You son of a... Wait, keep reading, keep reading. If it does, my questions on the live stream will never be answered again. Oh, they will always be answered. Until this live stream moves at a pace that I can't possibly keep up with it, which to be some time, I'll answer every single question. I can't share my SoundCloud playlist, Daniel, because I'm not really a SoundCloud sort of person. What I can share, what I actually use, and after years of using it for free, I donate these guys, I donate them $3 a month because they're these awesome, like, basically, conglomeration. They're a whole bunch of music vloggers, and they post all the music that they're vlogging about into this main site, and it's called Hype'em. And that's my Hype'em handle, and if you follow me there, you have access to, like, basically what I listen to on a day-to-day basis and what I'm constantly adding to. Hello, Usul. Welcome to the stream. I've never been to Nara, and I would love to go. I've heard good things. And all the kids, actually, from, whatchamacallit? All the kids from every junior high school make a trip to Kyoto and Nara every year. So I always see pictures from there. They're always really, really beautiful. You've got all the bowing deer in the parks that you find there, and it's awesome. All right, moving along. Okay, here we are. So the event, the Yokohama event that I went to, where they're celebrating Germany and all Germany's awesomeness, is at the Red Brick Warehouse. That's what it's called. And then you got these two buildings, one on either side, and then down the center strip of it is where all the food stalls and all the beers set up. And then in one thing over, there's like a whole nother section. It is insane how much beer and German food they have at this thing. It's absolutely amazing. There's a spider on the wall? And this is kind of the corner side of it. We arrived there not too late at night. The sun was yet to still go down. As a uni student in Hull, Yorkshire, I'm planning on a year work placement. What sort of software companies do you think will be Gaijin friendly? If you have a specialization like software development, David, I would say that they're just going to treat you well. Like, and especially as you're there with kind of that foreigner gaikokujin wall between you and what it is that you'll be doing. They'll treat you as a foreigner. They'll respect you for the work that you're doing. So I think you could work at any number of places. Again, that's from a sort of like observer's standpoint, because I don't know a lot about these companies, but I can imagine how you would be treated, and I think it would be good. Okay. In Japan, can you find a lot of inside-outside basketball courts? I heard Japan has top roof courts. Is it true? Japan has a huge appreciation for basketball. It's an incredibly popular sport here. They have tons of anime dedicated to it. You never have any problem whatsoever finding basketball courts in Japan, whether that's at like a rec center or wherever else, community center, a gym. It's going to be all over the place. Holy shit! I'm just going to swear enough to totally get my I was going to say my effing stream demonetized here. We have another donation tonight. Thank you so much, Kyle. That's truly appreciated. This is Kyle this is coming over from Korea. That's awesome. Yep, we got the beer fund for Busan now. Sweet. That's going to be awesome. Oh, and you know what this all means. You know what this means. It's another opportunity. We must do it. We have to do it. We're going live.
All right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's go.
That's a what?
Let me hear it.
A rhythmic clap. Lose the rhythm. It shouldn't be rhythmic.
Go, go, go.
Yeah. There we go. Lose the rhythm. Yeah. We just want a normal clap here. That's ridiculous. I can't believe the different currencies coming in tonight.
Sometimes there's so much beauty.
Right? There's so much beauty
in the world.
Okay, I will definitely get demonetized if I do that too much. Paid in woolongs. That's the only currency we accept here on DaveTrippin is woolongs. Okay, get back here. And I'm definitely going to have lost basketball courts. That's where we left off, everyone. Since the subreddit is just beginning and is struggling to find its legs, would you consider shouting it out so we can get some community spirit going? Do you mean the DaveTrippin subreddit? That ghost town? I don't know, man. I think of like, okay, well, shout it out. Anybody who wants to like post shit or talk about DaveTrippin in the subreddit on Reddit. I should actually know. Don't devalue yourself. It's an awesome subreddit. It's the only subreddit that really matters. People, if you want to post like video ideas there and stuff like that, post me video ideas there. Really appreciate it. Always looking for video ideas. Check out the subreddit, DaveTrippin. It's a place that you can post all things DaveTrippin. It's probably a great community place to check out. I hope we're talking about this, David. You mean like the one for my subreddit? Because otherwise I'm going to feel like a fool. Testing says, just got the idea to get the visa for studying Japanese, but I actually want to live there just like you dream, and I want to make it come true. I continued there, but not enough space for the words. Yeah, man, so follow your dream. That's I'm my kind of advocate for is like, most of us can, to some degree, follow exactly what it is that we want to do, but I think it's a misplaced belief in sort of narrow-minded systems that makes us think that we can't. And whether that's that you have to follow the white picket fence, or that you have to have a job, or that you have to do this, or you have to do that. Nobody has to do anything, aside from care for your family and look after the people you care about. I mean, that's what you basically have to do. And usually we're better off and able to do that if we're doing the things that we're passionate about. If you're doing what you're passionate about, you're in a good headspace. You're better equipped to be that member of whatever the community is that you belong to contribute in a way that means something. If a lot of people who feel like they're doing the right thing but so resent doing it, you know, they feel that this is their duty, that they have to do this, end up being so spiteful of the whole experience that they bring down their whole heart, their whole spirit, and then they become worse off for it. Worse off doing the thing that they thought would help them be better off. It's a real tragedy when life goes that way, and I would say it's probably in the majority, not the minority. Okay. Hello, Johan. Yes, I'm feeling happy and healthy. I've got today marks the sixth day physically active in a row. Sixth day, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, I'm going gym. Got to run in there. Saturday and Sunday, I'm going running, getting ready for this marathon, and then I'm going to, like, slow recover. So I'm chomping at the bit, fully recovered for the marathon. Okay. Starting some work, Dave. You should check out New Jobbies on YouTube's, so I don't have to leave the stream. New Jobbies on YouTube. New Jobbies. What is New Jobbies? So what is the best part-time job that I can do and still make a living there? I mean, people would argue probably like a conversational language school where you could get paid for the lessons that you do, and you could find one that, I don't know, pay you like 5,000 yen per little lesson that you did or something, and you could pack away like a bunch of money. Definitely doing private tutoring as a sort of side job can net you a good chunk of money. Dave, is there less street crime and stuff like that? Because it seems like people are more, correct me if I'm wrong, respectful to each other. It's like one of the most popular stereotypes of Japan is the level of safety that you have here. And it is one of these stereotypes that actually rings entirely true. Japan is an insanely safe country. If there's probably more crime than is reported, because they probably misreport on those figures because they want to look even better than they are. But the truth of it is that it is insanely safe here. My joke is always, you don't want to leave your car unlocked because somebody might break in and clean it. That's like the most typical Japan kind of like description of the experience of safety here. My buddy had a girlfriend who left her $5,000 camera. Dumbass left her $5,000 camera on the train 5 times. She forgot it. It also breeds this sort of naive people, which is also not so good for like being worldly or getting out. She had that camera returned to her 5 times. No one stole her camera, just sitting there. So to give you some context as to how safe it is. What's good? It's been cold these past few days. Yeah, I love it, Patrick. I love how cold it is. I can finally relax. The extreme heat of the summer is horrible for me. So I'm a big proponent, big supporter of the cooler weather. Has a big Buddha in Todaiji in Nara. Oh, cool. Hey, Dave, love the channel. I was wondering if you could give me some advice on starting teaching without a degree. I'm educated, just no degree. Do you think it will hamper my prospects? It hampers them in one respect, but then not in another. Provided you're a native speaker of English, you do not qualify for the public school system if you do not have a degree, but you could still qualify to work in the private sector in Eikaiwa schools or some international schools, although they usually err on the side that you would have a degree. But you can work in the private sector. I know there are people who work for Peppy Kids Club who do not have a degree. In that case, where I wouldn't say that a TESOL or a TEFL has much value, if you have a TESOL or a TEFL, in those cases, it could really help you out. So that's what I would recommend for somebody who doesn't have a degree. If you have a TEFL or TESOL and you apply to something like Peppy Kids Club, you can get your foot in the door, you can get that humanities visa, and then with a humanities visa, which is a lot more malleable than the instructor visa that I have, you can do things like the modeling, you can do some TV gigs, you can get a little bit more extra work running for yourself once you're here. So there's some food for thought. Dave just paid Mulan. What's your favorite Halloween film, Dave? Asks Jessica. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely the most impactful in my life. I'm sure I could think of one beyond this, but this I know this is going to set the stream on fire when I say this, because everybody who's anywhere remotely near my generation is going to be like, oh, you're so right, that's so true. Is Ernest Scared Stupid was sold so foolishly to people of my age as a sort of comedy, and it was easily the most scarring, memorably horrible Halloween movie that I watched as a kid. The whole concept that these kids are stolen away, the whole like design of the troll, the whole way that it steals children, the whole like the dark themes in that movie were insane, and it was like totally out of character for every other movie that was made in that genre of earnest movies. And there should have been some like disclaimer on the box or something, but it left an indelible, horrible mark on me after I watched it, because I couldn't escape the horror of that movie for years. It didn't matter how funny it was at the end, and then blasting the trolls with mother's milk and whatever the shit they were doing at the end of the thing. But I cannot believe how clearly I can remember how that horrified me as a young lad. Aside from that, Halloween-specific movie. I can go on about classic movies, but Halloween is one that I would have to think about a bit more. So at least I answered Halloween, but I can't think off the top of my head. We could do like great 80s movie, great old movie, great modern movie. We could do movies all day and all night, but yeah, I'd have to think about favorite Halloween. Tyler Grow, hey Dave, I'm high-rise window washer. I was wondering, do you know if Japan would accept my rope access, or do you think I would need to find and take the course? Okay, there is no sure example of don't talk about things that you don't have any experience in. With this, Tyler, unfortunately, I have no idea. That's like an interesting job. First off, I'm sure you get some like wild views doing that, and you would see some crazy stuff, but I don't know in Japan what the story would be with that. I'm sorry. Cowboy Bebop, huge favorite of mine. What about volleyball? How can someone go to Japan as an athlete? Volleyball is huge in Japan. Again, you can tell just how much proportionately by how many animes are made on the topic, and there's lots of volleyball animes. How can someone go to Japan as an athlete? Oh, well, I mean, if you've seen Mr. Baseball, because Hollywood movies are an exact representation of how things work in real life. No, I would imagine baseball would actually be a really good way to get over here if you were a baseball athlete. Shows you how shitty I am at answering that question, because I don't know. I don't know if you were volleyball. Okay, let's do one more quick shout out, because you guys are so awesome for the donators. That's Marshall. Big thank you to Marshall. Big thank you to Blackbane. Adil, thank you very much. And Kyle, thank you very much, with a very, very unique Wulong donation. Volleyball is gotta have a night. Gotta go have. Okay, Delor, you have a good weekend. Okay. Japanese DJ died in a car crash. Oh, that's sad. The Gmork from the Neverending Story used to scare the shit out of me as a kid. The chase scene in the swamp. Oh man, that's so cool that you mentioned that, James. I just posted, like, I've got my Facebook for DaveTrippin. One of the most, like, formative as a youth and now, and I like, if somebody's like losing hope or they're like, you know, they need a little bit of inspiration, I always link to them the scene at the end of the movie where the hero finally confronts the Gmork, and the Gmork talks about what the nothing is, and how the nothing is like the failing of people's hopes and dreams, and how it feeds off of people not having these anymore. And the boy asks, you know, why? Like, why does that matter? Why does it not want people to have hopes and dreams? Because he says people with no hopes and dreams are easy to control. It just shows you how it doesn't matter when something was written. If something is of, like, high quality and the message rings true, it becomes timeless. I absolutely love that. I think of that, honestly, for, like, that whatever you create on YouTube. I mean, not everything can be timeless, but I think that that's something you should aspire to, that it does not matter when you watch something, no matter how it might be dated, it's still equally as powerful. I think, like, you want an exact example of that. I even made a video with the sound edit put into it is the speech by Charlie Chaplin from The Dictator, where that thing, like, it's the weirdest thing in the world. People think it's kind of funny, but, like, I'll actually, a lot of people listen to music when they're working out, I'll put on that speech from that movie, and I'll put it on repeat and just listen to that speech because it pumps me up so much with the kind of, like, it's just true, eloquent clarity of purpose and mind and reason for, like, why people are here. That and the Gmork monologue. Thomas. Hi, Thomas. Longtime fan. I am fluent in Chinese. We should almost put the slow clap on for that. That's impressive. Just started Japanese this year. Chinese verbs are easy because there's no conjugation. Yeah, but, well, okay, that's true, first off. But then you have to consider that you've done a tonal language. Any advice for memorization? Basically, the best memorization that you can do, Thomas, is with these incredible... You may have even used it to study Chinese, but something like Anki... Anki, where you have this sort of digital flashcard system that has underlying it an algorithm that is learning as you let it know if you knew something or didn't know something, and then it will show you that card on a basis of how frequently you need to see it until you've learned it to the point where when you see it and you answer it easily, it'll show it to you less and less frequently. And there's a specific term for this type of learning. But that for memorization is insane because it's basically like the scientific method of moving something from your short-term to your long-term memory. And Anki and apps like Anki do a good job of that. And Anki is A-N-K-I. So you gotta get that. That's the guy. I got a couple Japanese gurus who helped me out and really have progressed the language for me through their mentorship and how you can study smart, not hard, although you probably got to do both. And he said Anki was one of the most important things that he used. Jason Waltman, yo man, love what you do. Keep it up. Inspire me more. Continue. Right on, man. That's awesome. Follow that dream. Study that language. It's worth it. When you're walking home, do you ever catch yourself in a moment of bliss, listening to the sounds around you? That is the one thing I've noticed. Maybe a reprising breeze might catch me. I definitely take moments that I think when we get so busy in our day-to-day, we get so lost in our thoughts that we forget that we're existing in a current moment in time. And so I do try and situate myself occasionally and just be like, where are you now? What are you thinking now? How do you feel now? And in doing so, it'll put into perspective all those things that I may have lost touch with where they are in importance in my life. It's sort of a mindfulness technique that goes along with meditation. So sometimes in those moments, I'll enjoy something like a breeze or whatever else is around at that time. Ah, spaced repetition. Okay. Okay, you've used it, right? So there you go, Thomas. You already have the secret. You have the secret. So you know what to do. I don't know. I've not seen Reanimator. Elmo's World. Watched your video about buying cars the other day. How common are sporty, loud cars like Evos, Subarus? Most people in Japan, and they're cool in Japan. This is the thing you have to realize, is K-cars, because K-cars got a couple things going for them. A, if you own a K-car, if you don't own a K-car, there's this stupidly involved process you have to go through to register your parking space which is insane, but I understand with the limitations on space why the Japanese do it, but it's just way overly bureaucratic. It does not matter the limitations on space. It's super overly bureaucratic. If you have a K car, you don't have to have a special permit for where you park, or you don't have to get permission in the same way. Not only that, they're just insanely fuel efficient. Not only that, when you do shock-in, because their engine is so small, you save massive money. So those are the most ubiquitous cars that you're going to see around Japan. If you see something loud and annoying, it's usually the whole subculture in Japan of people on motorbikes that go around going ring, 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 ring. And they're called something I can't remember. Somebody will probably knows this who's like got a bit of that Japanophile knowledge here in the stream. And they'll be able to tell you exactly what it is. But those are the most loud and annoying, and they're all over the place. I mean, a lot of people, 93% of the Japanese population lives in cities, and in cities, you do not need a car. If you were insanely wealthy and you just wanted that extra bill and extra luxury, just that much more, you might own a car. But not many people own cars in Japan, I think, comparative to their whole population, because so many of them live in cities that have such good mass transit.
Follow me, and I promise I will be the most benevolent dictator.
Right on, Brett. I'll keep on working. I hope you keep on watching. Appreciate it. My question then would be, do you have a card for every conjugation? In Chinese, there's no need for this because they never change, so I don't know how to memorize verbs in Japanese. Oh, I wish I had a better way to describe this. Basically, all the verbs, depending on their ending, have a predictable way that you conjugate them. So what you'll discover is that you don't need to learn every single verb's conjugation. What you learn is the ending of a verb's conjugation. So, for example, we'll go into a bit of my horrible Japanese here. If you have something like taberu, the middle sound in that is be. So any verb that you find that has a be, ne, a, se, anything that has that a sound in it will be conjugated in a specific way. And so you actually need to learn how to conjugate far less verbs than you think you do. There's still probably like 8 or 9 different like ways that they form up. But when you get into it, I think you'll notice that it's less of a mountain than you perceive it as when you're initially starting. Dave, do you still do video responses to emails? I was thinking about sending you one of my dilemma regarding moving to Japan for more experienced teachers. I will be... Oh, yeah, I'll answer like that utterly truthfully, Mark. So basically, I might do a video response to an email, but the video itself wouldn't be called any kind of a dedicated response. What I would do is I would look at the emails that people are sending me. I'll respond to every... In fact, I finally cleared out my inbox. I'm totally caught up again. I've responded to everybody's emails. What I'll do is I'll just try and incorporate the answer to whatever questions I'm seeing in the email into a video that would probably have, by a different title, more likelihood to reach a greater audience. And in that way, I don't so nicheify the videos that I release with a direct response, like this is a response to this specific question, that I can at least hope that my channel will grow a bit more because I'm reaching a larger audience, but I'm still doing the service to my community that is answering their questions. It just won't appear as this is a video response to this person specifically, but I will still always try and answer them, but in a way that is a video which reaches a larger audience, if that can make sense to you. I have a Japanese Anki dex that I use, but they just don't use the base. But they just use the base form of the verb. How should I manage memorizing all the forms? Kind of confused. Okay, well, something that you could find is basically a verb form sheet. Like, I got one of these things, and it shows, like, this verb, and it says, now conjugate this verb across all these different forms, and then find out what is a type 1 verb, type 2, type 3, type 4, type 5. I don't know, like, there's endings in ru, there's endings in su, there's endings in... You find out what all the different endings are, and then you'll find out what it is or the way in which it's conjugated. Mina Nihongo has like a really good section on this if you want to pick up a real practical book. I recommend Mina Nihongo. And it's all good, Thomas. I'm here to answer questions. If you didn't ask questions, it would be a very boring stream. Oh, and then you understood what I was saying about the different verbs. Oh, I lost my space again. That's why I'm taking this sweet, sweet time. A quick question. How was the Japanese driver's test? Some people, they're going to hate me for this one. So I didn't have to do a Japanese driver's test. So there are certain countries, Australia, UK, Canada, when they come to Japan, they don't have to do a driver's test. Basically, after a year, I go in and I stand in all the lines and I had to do the paperwork. But once the paperwork was done, they just sent me an official full license for driving in the country. I've heard the test is quite challenging. Yep, Hook's amazing. Good choice, 90s, very good. Seems like it wouldn't be worth owning a sports car unless you live in the countryside anyways. And just something in Japan is once a car is over 10 years old, they increase the engine tax on it. The engine tax is once a year, depending on the size of your engine. I mean, I owned the 350 GT Skyline, 280 horsepower, no big deal. I'm not waxing. I'm not fanning my ego here. That cost me per year, if I wanted to keep driving it, $700 just for the tax, not including the insurance that I had to pay for having an engine that size. And I was like, why the hell am I paying $700? How many videos can I make with that much money? So that's out, and that's why I drive a K car now. Dave, do you ever open a book and go, shit, that is some nice topography? Certainly I do. Mitsubishi Lancer, I love it. Don't want to part with it and move to Japan, as it's a rare car and there's not a Fast and Furious scene in Japan these days. I know, there's a big drift culture here. Like, there's tracks and people are always going to drift their cars, and you see, you know, with the curved wheels and all that stuff, which makes drifting easier, everything like that. You definitely, you see that. There's a big, like, tuner culture here, I guess you could say.
We're all crazy. We're not our parents, Betty. We're not our families.
Okay. I didn't think Canada was... Yeah, that's right. That's right. Email link. I can write that into the chat right now if people need that. DaveTrippin on at Gmail. I can't believe DaveTrippin was taken. I was like, I gotta change this? What? Okay. I'm doing Anki Deck right now while listening to this. There you go. There you go. Yeah, so let's move on with these pictures now. So there you get a little bit of the flavor. This is, like you can see, I was saying that you got the buildings on either side, and then they set up down the middle. And what you're not seeing is, like, over here, lefty, lefty, left, left. Over here, left, is another whole, like, tent that was set up with even more stuff mixed into it. So you got even more stuff. There's Tom with our 2 yards. Massive. Interesting thing here. So if you ask someone, it's like hiding in, like, plain sight what makes this experience of going to this place different from doing something like this in Canada. where I would say, what is different about this picture that you would see here than if you were to do it in Canada? And it's the fact that they're using glass, people. It's the fact that every single beer that you get at this place, you are allowed to get it in one of these awesome yards, in a stein, in a blah, 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 all these different things. And it just shows this, like, community trust that they have in Japan, which is amazing, that there's going to be all these people drinking, all these people getting hammered, and they don't think that they're going to lose thousands of dollars on the cost of broken glass. Like, I just couldn't believe that. Now, when you got a drink, you had to pay a mother effing deposit on this thing that was absolutely huge. But I don't mind paying a deposit that I could easily just return the glass and then have the experience of having this out of this awesome huge stein. I mean, that's just wicked. This guy's one right here, this was a 3-liter. I was like, I'm not totally sure. This guy looked wrecked afterwards. I was like, he's not, I don't know. And you can see he's quite slim. This man is a lithe man. He was gonna feel that in the morning. I think you can see it right now. You can see it. You can see it in the eyes. This man is going to be questioning his decisions the next morning. The Fagoods. How strong is the prejudice against tattooed people? Is it worse for foreigners? Actually, I would say it's less for foreigners, because within their own culture it has such strong connotations, but then if you're not from the Japanese culture, if you had a tattoo, they'd be like, oh, well, whatever. I mean, he doesn't know how things are here, so if he has a tattoo, then it's totally fine. So yeah, I think you could get away with it. It wouldn't be a big deal if you had tattoos. I know a guy right now, he just got a head teacher position in Ikebukuro, working for some eikaiwa, and he's got tattoos all over the place, and they don't care that he has tattoos. I would say my Japanese level now, James, is basically like a proficient N4 level, which means that if I'm having, like, if I'm with somebody that I'm comfortable with, we can have a little conversation and I can get by, and in day-to-day stuff, I'm okay. But it's not any real true fluency that I've achieved at this point. When I first came to Japan, all I'd done was kind of like look in a book or two and being like, oh, so this is what the Japanese language is. How fascinating. But I didn't really have any Japanese whatsoever. I have enough now that if somebody knew no Japanese at all, they'd be like, ooh, that's pretty cool. Like when my buddy visited, he was like, man, your Japanese is pretty good. And I was like, oh, no, it's not. I'm going to take this time now, too, guys, to shamelessly plug, for those who would one day wish to support or do so now, my Patreon is the place to do it. We got cool things going on at the Patreon. I've got, whether it's that you get one-on-one questions answered, whether it's that you get Skype time with me, whether it's that if you get a free copy of my book. At the $5 level, I do all these like photo packs, like the trips that you see me going on now. I also do monthly professional photo print giveaways. I do a bunch of stuff on my Patreon to give an extra little thanks for the people that want to support me there and for the channel. So, under absolutely no obligation, that is a way, if you are interested in supporting and helping the channel grow, that is a surefire way to do it, to let you know. Alright. Lobo, I'm from South Africa. I was thinking about doing like a TEFL and going to teach English, but one thing I think about, the amount of people, does it ever get overwhelming? Not sure, you might have to rephrase that. Do you mean like the amount of people teaching here, or like, oh, do you mean maybe the population of the people living here? Because if you live where I live, then you won't notice anything. Like it's actually quite sparse when you're out here. It feels like the countryside. 93% of the people live in the cities. If you are in the city, I do notice that even over the course of a weekend, if you're out there at those like peak hours when you're in the city, that yeah, you better believe that there's like points of like feeling a little bit overwhelmed and kind of like, oh, sweet mama jamma, like this place is just packed, and that can be wearing, and you do feel like you need to withdraw from that and take a breather from it. So there is that aspect to the culture.
Getting hurt, being rejected.
Head back up. Go back to this. Oh, that was cool. This is on my Instagram. Anybody who follows my Instagram, I'm sure they've seen this before. I'm coming to Japan in 2 weeks with Interact, and I've studied Japanese, but only reading and writing, so my listening is pretty terrible. Meh, it's fine. You'll be totally fine. Just keep working at it. Keep crushing it. You'll be totally fine. No worries, Mercurite. You gotta take those calls. You gotta live that life. Holy shit! Oh, well, pause everything. We've got to, something needs to happen now. Something very, very important. Thank you, Thomas Brooks. You're the man. I appreciate the donation very much. Not sure why we'll have this.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
That's how I felt after I got my results back from the N4 test. I failed by 1 mark. I think I said that exactly. Yeah.
No!
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's awesome. And if you got any questions, actually, oh, Thomas, you've been doing the question. I was like, if you got any more questions, I guess I'm answering them. But if you got any more questions, you know I'm here to answer them. Okay. Wanted to start doing the Japanese, but I noticed on level 1 they've replaced almost all. Oh no, just Thomas, just do the test. Just do the test. Do the N5, do the N4. Like, don't let people. Who cares if you know the Chinese? Awesome. So you've got a leg up on other people. That's gonna make things so much better for you. This girl I know from Singapore. I mean, that was the case for her. She obviously spoke Mandarin or whatever it was, and that was a huge advantage that she took through with her on all the learning that she did. So why not have that advantage? It's a difficult enough thing to do in the first place, so take your advantages where you can. Yeah. The N4 has a little kanji, and then boom, N3 gets real serious. Have to cover a class, yes. Yeah, no, I like donations. Don't let the no God please no. That was probably, yeah, it was like the antithesis to what had occurred there. Yes. Make no mistake, donations are truly, truly appreciated. I would never discourage. Once I leave China, I plan to become a Patreon of yours and other YouTubers. It's just quite difficult getting... Oh, yeah. Again, and that's something as well. I know there is zero pressure. Absolutely zero. Because everybody's struggling. I know everybody is. I see you want as many kanji on the test as possible, not hiragana. Who cares? I mean, you'll learn all the hiragana so easily. Don't be that guy who's like, oh, you know, I just wish there was more kanji on this because, you know, I know so much kanji. Don't be that guy, Thomas. Don't be that guy. Right on, Art. Right on. Yeah, Kelta definitely, because Kelta's the step up, right? Kelta's more internationally recognized as being a higher level. So, yeah. Yeah, that's a good choice. That's a good choice. Yeah, the night was drawing on at this point. It was going on. Boats in the harbor. Sea beams glittering in the Tannhauser Gate. So many people. I think I heard like 1 glass break, which is some kind of miracle, honestly. Oh, and here's what I was talking about. So this is the other beer tent that they set up, and you can see we got wall-to-wall, buxom blondes, beautiful beers, tons of people. And in the center here, there was like bands that came in that would then perform, and they were like, I walked by at one point and they were doing the YMCA. I'm always so curious, whether it's in a video or I take pictures, like catching people looking directly at my camera, which I find so entertaining. Like this lady down here, she's staring into our soul right now. I always find that so strange. Although sometimes it gets me down, because I've caught people like looking at me in videos before where they're looking at me and then I see them like look away and they speak to their buddy and then they start laughing and I'm like, they're making fun of me filming. I hate you. Okay, Hiragana takes away the ability to cheat. Yes, yes it does. Opinions on Fukuoka, visiting there in the winter and don't know what to expect. I don't know Fukuoka that well, unfortunately. Yeah, I could see that, definitely. I'm sure there's some variation between the Chinese and the Japanese. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Oh, Chinese proficiency for Japanese people. Ah! Well, look at that. We're all learning something here. Oh, look at Tom, that handsome devil. Oh, Dave, that handsome devil. That was a cool shot, I thought. All the glowy lights, Coming to an end here. This place looked crazy. It was like clearly set up for weddings. Marshall Hill, Dave, did you say you were from the island or the mainland? I'm originally from Vancouver Island, and then I spent 6 years in, what was that? Was there a guy in the corner? Oh yeah, he is. Look at that little dude down there hiding in the corner. That's weird. I didn't see him there before. Anyways, yeah, I was from Vancouver Island, and then I went over to Vancouver for 6 years to both take forever. I was like the Van Wilder kind of guy going through my university and living there and loving it and hating it and going through some like really wild life experiences at that time. Pretty cool place to visit, plenty of stuff, not very cold for Japanese standards. Third favorite spot to visit by yourself. I used to love when I was living in Sanmu in southeast of Chiba City. I lived next to the ocean, and I would sometimes go down to the ocean and I would listen to podcasts of like Dan Carlin podcasts, or I would just like walk along the ocean and listen to music, kind of like come up with ideas that I thought might work for YouTube. And yeah, I used to love just walking along the ocean. I am, believe it or not, I'm sort of a high-strung person, and sometimes I need to escape from my thoughts. And so whatever ways I can find to do that, I really, really enjoy. So that was like a place for me to do that. Thanks very much, Testing. My thoughts are, if I make content that's worthy of getting the attention, like, oh wow, you're in Mobara. Oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah. If I can, that's how I don't get it twisted. When I make content that's worthy of the attention, then I think I'll get the attention, and I'm on my way. I'm on my way. So it's all coming. I think this next video coming out next week, I'm gonna work on it. I'm putting in at least 8 hours this weekend, probably more. I'm gonna go 10 plus this weekend, and I'm hoping the whole project, I mean, I'm imagining for the quality I want it to come out is gonna be somewhere around like 30 hours plus for this video that'll come out on probably Friday or Saturday next week. And I think it's going to be approaching that sort of quality that you'd see in these videos that get these 100,000 views, that get the attention of a larger audience. I'm on my way. I'm getting there. All right, thanks very much for dropping by, Thomas. And again, thank you very much for the donation. I really, really appreciate it. Oh, they're on Vancouver Island now, James. That is weird. You're right. Don't apologize for asking questions again, Thomas. Never apologize for asking questions. They are welcome here. I don't know Chris personally, the Fagoudes, or whatever that is, but I've had limited correspondence with him, and I can say from that limited correspondence that he's a real stand-up guy. I went around asking a bunch of people if they wanted to collaborate, and I figured why not even ask larger people, because I feel like no matter how big you are, people with the right spirit in YouTube, their priority will always be to make good videos. It's not going to matter if you're smaller than them. If they see somebody with a good video resume, they'll do a video with them. And I was like, I can send them some of the videos I've done that show, you know, I'm serious about this and I'm up in my game. And the response that I got back from him was like just 10 out of 10 classy response. He was very humble, he was very polite, he was very complimentary, and we'd even talked about doing a collaboration together, but just unfortunately, and it doesn't surprise me, he was busy enough that it could never come to fruition, and I do hope one day that's like a thing. I'd love to do a video collaboration with him. And in the meantime, I don't mind that I haven't, because I'm always learning, and it just means when the time does come that I'll have a higher skill set, and the quality of whatever it is that we produced in a sort of collaboration would be that much better. But the guy is the real deal. People, they're not misplacing their faith, I think, to think that he's a good guy and he has, like, the best intentions and creative intentions at heart when he makes his stuff. All right, Elmo. Good luck with your planning meeting. No worries. Oh, hilarious, James. Oh, right on. That's interesting. Yeah, it's just a small world, isn't it? I mean, everybody you meet, everybody, I don't know, just the weird interconnections that happens between everyone can be quite, you know, nothing less than remarkable. I think you could say nothing less than remarkable. But yeah, I mean, I've had like I've literally sat and watched his videos with like a notebook open, and I take notes where I'm just like, how does he transition? How does he create narrative? How does he use B-roll? How does he make the successful videos that he makes? I don't know. Maybe this is just hearsay, but I heard maybe that he had actually gotten like his degree, or he had some sort of thing in film study or something, because I was like, I just can't believe that it's a coincidence that he edits. His fundamentals are so good. It's not that he does really, really fancy stuff. He just does fundamentals so well. Random question. How close is a convenience store to you? Probably 5-minute drive away. I mean, they're close. For Japan, that's like miles. That's like, oh my God, you poor man. This is not an exciting picture for me to have paused on here. That's cool. The nighttime, that thing lit up all its different colors. I am in Ibaraki Prefecture. Aha! Yes, Chris has a degree in filmmaking. Yeah, I was like, there's just no way his fundamentals are so good when it comes to the stuff that he's making. Yeah, I think it would be very easy to misunderstand his humor, but it's like the people who misunderstand sarcastic humor like that, it was always going to happen. I mean, there's just, this is the world we live in, right? There's a great variety of intelligences. We'll just say it that way. Mayo, hello Mayo, welcome to the stream, good to see you. No, I do not have a kotatsu, and in fact, people have commented on that when they've come over. They're like, what, no kotatsu? And I'm like, yeah, what's it to you? I burn bright, I have no need for one. I want to own multiple cars in Japan. Can you pay for more than one parking spot at your apartment? Yeah, I'm certain that you could. You totally could. Yes, Zvrekrable. I am going to Shibuya on Halloween. If you follow me on Instagram, everybody should. I'll put that down below. Follow me on Instagram, and you get notifications like that. That's my Instagram, CD Jameson. I'm going to Shibuya, and I'm going to be making a video out of that. So I think that it'll be quite toot sweet.
Tell me what's going on, okay? Tell me what's wrong.
You don't want to be with me, Clay.
But I do. Real
Thanks, Glenn. I love that jacket as much as you do. I like, for longest time in my life, I was like, I've never had a nice jacket. I want a nice jacket so bad. The jacket that I'm wearing is from a clothing store, interestingly enough, an Italian clothing store called Gas. And I bought that from a location that no longer exists in Omotesando. So yeah, that's where I got that jacket from, and I love it. I love it. There was actually, it was between that and one that was slightly more expensive in the store, but I was like, no, this one speaks to me. And I was going around everywhere, absolutely everywhere, and it was like at the very end of the day that I finally hunted it down. I was like, this is the one. This is what speaks to me. And I've had it now for like quite a few years. It's in awesome shape. It should be for the cost. And I love it. I'm going to lose like 30 people. He's like, this dude's talking 5 minutes about his jacket. Holy shit. Yeah. Kotatsus are awesome. I don't mean to bash the kotatsu. They're very, very chill. Have I ever gone on that cherry blossom slide again? I have. Actually, not that one. No, I have. I've brought more people who've come to visit me. That's funny. You've clearly watched the videos for a while that you know that one. People who visited me, I take them up there, and I'm like, this is typical of a beautiful. It's typical of Japanese slides. Those are in a lot of parks. Those slides that they have, I've discovered. I thought that was rare to that mountain, native only to that mountain, but they're all over the place. And I take my friends there because I feel like that's an awesome Japanese experience thing. Sort of feels like I have to choose between a Tesla career or my girlfriend. There will be choices in life. There'll absolutely be choices in life, and you do, I mean, that's the value of anything, is that you sacrifice it for another, or it's an aspect of the value of anything. I think that a lot of people have trouble accepting, is that you will always sacrifice something. But it adds depth and meaning to whatever choice you've made, not to make it a downer. Do you ever feel like a beast when you're sitting in an onsen? Oh, certainly I do, in more ways than one. Of course, yes, exactly. It's Italian style. That just stuck out to me now. I was like, oh, that's right. I'm going to Hiroshima branch. We're training November 13th. Excited and nervous. Great. That's the way it should be. Excitement and nervousness. Nervousness is half the fun. Yeah, it's good to dream. That jacket took me, I don't know, I was how old when I bought that? I was like 29? Maybe 29? I was thinking of getting a sweet leather jacket. That was actually my intention. I was like, I want a sweet, badass, like one of those like maybe motorcycle style like minimalist leather jackets. I still want one of those, but then when I came across that jacket, I was like, it's got to be this one. This one is just so cool. I must have it. It must be mine. It will be mine. That's pretty cool. I think that one actually. Bit dark, but the camera held its own. That's cool. I got a couple cool ones here. Do. Music's kind of matching the, like, you know, the evening vibe of these photos now. Do. Ball dogs. Tom viewing things in the distance. Snapping a few more shots. Oh, binge watch. Okay. Yes, Lobo. Please, yes, with the binge watching. Please do that. I was looking for an idea if going over is good or not. Then I saw your maybe video and took it to heart, so I'm going to try. Ah, you saw the maybe video. That's, yeah, that's one of my, it's one of those ones I felt afterwards. I was like, you know what? I don't know. There's probably not that many people who are going to watch this, but I felt like afterwards I was like, I just felt, I was like, I could just tell that it was one of the best videos I had made. And that almost like made me feel better because I was like, those have got to be in there, right? Like, there's so many beautiful things that are made but never seen, you know? So I'm glad you got to watch that one because it's sort of, I feel like it's sort of a sleeper. I felt quite on point that day when I felt like I could convey what I was trying to get across very clearly on that day. It's yeah, thanks very much for the vote of confidence, James. I think a large part of why I've not grown more quickly is I've kind of had to. We'll get real intimate now. We'll talk about my most inner thoughts on the reflections of my channel's growth and its failures and successes. So I do feel a little bit like I've sort of gone about the growth of my channel from the opposite end. Where what I've always valued so highly, and I think is so important, is sort of like artistic integrity and creativity and making something that's like really, really beautiful and timeless. But you can do that, but until people are aware of you, nobody's really going to watch it. Where when I looked at all these other channels that have become successful and are growing quickly, it's that they understand what is more mass appealing on YouTube, and that's the end that they start from, recognizing that if they don't have an audience, then who are they going to express all those other creative things that they want to make to? And so what I've been... Oh, that's right. Shit, we got to fix Fire Flank. It's just donated into the fund. Oh, this is good. Oh, yeah. Yeah, fix Fire Flank. You just did it. It's gotta happen.
This is it.
Oh no, I don't know if that music's gonna get me banned. Or not banned, but you know what I'm talking about. Did I just click this? No, I just clicked it. I clicked the same one. I'm failing, guys. Oh, even better. We're gonna go a whole different direction, guys.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You get the mega clap. You see these numbers? That's how many claps you get for a £2 donation on my channel. I don't just give you a slow clap. I give you the clapping record. You see, these are the sort of, I mean, to kind of continue the point that I was just making, thank you so much. First, so it doesn't get lost in me telling this story, Fix Fire Flank. Really appreciate it. It's a matter of time. It just takes time for people to notice. So what I'm going to do is focus more, not on making shitty videos like this, but videos that have more mass appeal, that have more viral qualities, even if only in the title, but things that I think will get better awareness for my channel and have a better likelihood to be picked up by the YouTube algorithm. So this is kind of a cool story that we can talk about now. I was thinking about this recently because there's this guy, Julian Michelson or McPherson or something. He's grown to 1 million subscribers within a year. And when he started, he was doing like vloggy type stuff, really creative stuff. Nobody paid any attention. But then he started making, I think because he got wise to this, these sort of life hack videos that, of course, those are like way more sort of like YouTube bait for being a popular video. And then as soon as he started to ramp up in his audience, he then started to blend in the more creative videos again. So that's what I'm taking. That's what I'm taking a note from, taking a page out of these sort of successful people's books. Is that if you want an audience to watch your creative stuff, you need to first have an audience. And how do you get an audience? You get it by having stuff that at first on YouTube has a higher chance of going more viral. And so this is really interesting, guys. This is really, really cool. So, okay, yes, here, in general, YouTube's growth, it's all getting 10-minute vids out as frequently as possible. And it's mainly about being okay, what not to do in Japan. But this is an interesting point. So, it's not even clickbait. It's that, like, let's look at this. So, I just made a video, I'll tell you guys the story. I just made a video with all this stuff in mind, that I needed to take this approach where I needed to get things that just somebody other than the more hardcore group that I have would be watching my videos, and I thought, like it or not, top 10 videos have that kind of appeal. Catch you later, Grand Beef. Thank you very much for dropping by the stream. I appreciate it. It's good to see you. Good to see you in here. And I thought, I can still put my own, like, brand on this, because I'm not going to make the pure shit top 10 video where somebody just flashes through. I'm not going to make it that virally. I'm just going to do my style of this kind of thing, and I'm going to try and provide, like, real reflections. I mean, I was talking about, like, cryptocurrency in it, right? That video that I just posted that is in this vein of, like, more virally videos, it's the first video of mine to be picked up in ages by the YouTube algorithm, where I've been struggling to get, like, around 3,000 views in a video. That video has been up for a week, and in a week it got picked up by the algorithm, and it's my best performing video in the last, like, 4 months. It's got 7,000 views on it. You're onto it, Lobo. So basically, top 10 ways to slide down the cherry blossom slide. It can even be a similar content to the way that I'm creating it now, but I need to position it on release in a way that has a broader appeal to people. And I think as I do that, I'm gonna see better growth with the channel. That's why you see these other guys who, they're just doing, like, really, like, shamelessly viral stuff, and it's fine, you know. Again, some of these people doing this stuff, it's just them, that's who they are, that's the sort of thing they make. But, like, Find Your Love in Japan is this guy who just, like, does these goofy interviews, but the interview questions that he's asking are the most beautiful clickbaity titles you've ever seen, and lo and behold, in 2 years, the guy's grown to 113,000 vids, or, sorry, subscribers, where me, you know, I do something like a guide on, like, how to let go, with, like, this vague artistic title. It's like, who's gonna watch that except, like, the people who know the stuff that I make and appreciate I'm trying to do something creative. So from now, it's going to be a healthy dose of me trying to access viral growth and then show the people who are drawn to the channel by those more viral videos that there's something of substance behind those more viral videos that keeps them around in the channel. It's a sort of, how to put it? It's a sort of like the beautiful marriage of the two. Yeah, clickbaity, exactly what you said there, Joan, and clickbaity isn't bad by default. It's bad if it's literally bait. It's bad if you made a, like, clickbaity top 10 video, and then the video just blows, and you offer, like, no insight and nothing useful. But if you make a video that, is a top 10, but then people are like, oh, that was a really, like, actually that was insightful and interesting, then it's not bait at all. It's just that you intelligently named your video to get, you know, someone interested in checking out what it is to make, what you're making in the first place. Because people, like, why should people care? That's the question I finally was like, that's such a fair question. Like, when you look at anybody trying to find my channel, why should they care? Why should anyone come by and see a more artistic video that I'm making? Why should they care about that? They're going to go for the thing that people are basically motivated by, which is stuff, you know, for better or worse, which has a little more broad appeal, a little more mass appeal. So this is my, like, 5-minute or so rant on the repositioning of the sort of ways that I'll make videos to, like, draw people in, but then I hope that they will stick around for the more, you know, creative stuff and more highly produced stuff that it is that I'm making. Yeah, exactly, Wang. Like, a great video, like, you want awesome viral, would be those food ones, like food topics, like when you do this, like, $150 watermelon compared to a $10 watermelon, the stuff that, like, Simon and Martina have done a little bit recently. Those have amazing mass appeal. Those can go into the millions of views. People show up with that. Like, that was a great expression Jonan used, getting eyes on your videos. You get your eyes onto your videos that way, and then boom, they end up sticking around because you're making content that actually, oh, they're like, you know, I came because I saw this cool fruit video, but then I was checking out his other stuff, and it's so cool, and it's, like, cinematic and beautiful and interesting and insightful. But people don't usually go in the first time for insightful cinematic. They go in because something was basically interesting to them, and basically interesting is usually a little bit kind of clickbaity, mass appeal-y sort of stuff. Well, actually, James, okay, so here's like another extension of that. You say, Japan is a niche topic. If you make videos that appeal to people who might not have an interest in Japan, then you could broaden your audience. And this is the way, thinking in that way, how you can broaden your audience, where people who are not even necessarily interested in Japan, like Japanophile level, they might be interested in the sort of top 10, you know, weird facts you didn't know about Japan. Even if you're not all about Japan, you might click on a video like that, right? So it's like, you can still even use your niche subject in a far-reaching way. It's like, yeah, this is something I've really been waking up to, where I looked at these people and I was like, none of these people started with something that was like really, really creative. It was usually they had something more viral, and then they were able to show that more creative aspect of themselves. Except for, drumroll, guess who? Abroad in Japan, where he succeeded on brute force creativity because he made really well produced videos. He just got, like, I don't want to even say lucky, he was just like, he got spotted for the fact that he always made these amazing videos. And when everybody else around the time that he was making videos, this is another aspect of it, nobody made videos. Like, people even barely now, except for like maybe the most select few, I don't even think people really match his quality of videos now. I think on the rarest of occasions, maybe like my my capsule hotel video, I was like kind of getting there with narrative, kind of getting there with my editing, finally reaching to his level, but like he's succeeding on the fact that his shit is just better. And that exists as well. But I think that why ignore, why not do both? Why not appeal to like these virally videos that could help you grow, and then alongside that, like I'm saying, I'll do these like more high production value vlog, adventure, documentary-esque kind of stuff. Let's see. Yeah, Fat Bank, yeah, absolutely, Fat Bank. Like, making stuff more than talking is better. Yeah, and I think that this is something that get tons, like millions of YouTubers get, they get paralyzed by. They're like, they just have this grand plan. They're always talking about something that they want to do, and then they never execute. They never make something that really matters because they're paralyzed by perfection, I say, where they're just like always storyboarding, they're always planning. So finished is better than perfect, let's put it that way. Yeah, Mark, I was thinking about that actually. A video I wanted to do is 10 unknown, like I don't know exactly the name of it, but again, trying to get this mass appeal, but I was going to do like maybe 5 lesser known neighborhoods in Tokyo, like 5 cool hidden secrets in Tokyo, and go to these like less covered, interesting places around Tokyo where that's totally viral and yet still a legitimate artistic video that you could make. That is the ultimate like sweet spot, is where it can be viral and it can be quality. You can totally do that too. Yep, collabs, also a fantastic idea. Collabs are huge if you can find people to collab with. That's huge. That's right, he came, he saw, he kumquat. A band called Maybe She Will. I think you'd like them, check it out. Cool. Yeah, I think you can also overfocus. There's all these things to definitely consider. Yeah, Chris, yeah, he's a son of a bitch. I gotta be promoting myself more than Chris here, but no, yeah, he's a funny guy. Yeah, he's a funny guy. Real funny. Yeah, his video production is crazy. I mean, it's excellent fundamentals. Excellent fundamentals. Yeah, even thing is, David or Mr. Lloyd, even if somebody's doing the hidden in Tokyo, that's fine. I think there's room for everybody, because everybody's gonna like do different neighborhoods. Everybody's gonna put their own spin on it. Everybody's gonna have their own take. I don't think about it in that way, because I mean, if you did that, then you'd never make anything, because I I don't know. That's like saying, you know, so-and-so's doing a capsule video. Does that mean you never do a capsule hotel video again? Like, there's room for everybody and to put your own kind of spin on it. In my humble opinion. Oh, that's a cool one. I didn't even know I had that one. That's so cool. Damn. Where is it here? Also, gonna link into the chat, guys. Should you find it in your hearts, if you are in a position to help, if you can contribute, it is so appreciated and so welcomed. The best place to do so is at my Patreon, under no obligation. I know there's a lot of students, a lot of people in life, movements and stuff, that this is not a possibility, and you are already helping my channel by watching my videos. But if you do so desire to support the channel in a little bit more of a way, Patreon is the way to do it, and there's tons of rewards there, from image packages like the images that we're watching here that is updated monthly, photo giveaways, book giveaways, all sorts of crazy stuff on Patreon for the additional support that people give me there. Shameless plug is shameless. And one more thank you, because you guys will not be forgotten, to Marshall, Blackbane, Adil, Kyle, Thomas, and Fixfire Flank. That's just another shout out for you guys. Really appreciate the donations tonight. Really appreciate it. All good. You can make videos showing beautiful areas of Japan and naming some facts about them. Oh yeah, I mean that's kind of that's like that goes without saying to any kind of place that you go to. You would definitely knit that into a narrative that you're making.
Now all I can think is maybe I'm crazy like they are.
Oh, that's a cool idea, Fixfire Flank. I never thought of that. That's actually an excellent idea. If I can move things around, that I can visit my family again next summer, I will definitely bring back a bunch of Japanese food and we'll get their reactions to it. Natto would be incredible if I could get them to have natto. That would be cool. Yeah. Can I make slideshows with some of your pictures? All credit will be tagged, of course. Yeah, of course, Marshall. Of course you can. Yeah. I think ultimately 32 Connect, that's like that magical element in a channel success on YouTube. The longevity of a channel is dependent on personality. It's not what might make you blow up. It's not what makes you initially successful. But if you are to continue on YouTube, your strength must be your personality, because everybody stays around for cheap glitz. Everybody shows up for cheap glitz, sorry, but everybody stays for personality. That's why you will continue to succeed, in my humble opinion. Stream, what's going on? Hagi, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you, Hagi. Good to see you. Oh, man. And what a stream it's been tonight. I feel like we've had some great questions. We've had some great input here. We've had like a real kind of international vibe going on tonight. If it's not... I mean, it's been Germany, New Mexico, Florida, England, Korea, South Africa. Just... yeah, you know, it's just been it's been real cool tonight. Having a channel blow up can be a great thing. The trick is getting them to stick around. You're damn right. That's it. So many people, it's like, oh, I'm huge now, and I don't have a clue what to do with this. I didn't know. Oh, really? Okay. That's another. Okay. Here's another aspect. Temporary insanity. That I think is key to a good video, since this has been kind of a fun topic. We're just in on this right now, although it might be anathema to the growth of people watching. Is you can tell a good video and a bad video where if somebody presents a video, and Greece, sorry, catch you later, James. Thanks so much for dropping by the stream. Portugal, there you go. That's awesome. you can tell a person who's a better and worse video maker because they go to a place and they create a narrative, and that's where quality of narrative comes in, where somebody doesn't tell you anything interesting about a place that has so many interesting facts about it. Like they go to, for example, like me going to Yokohama, there's so much that's interesting about Yokohama, but somebody might just like walk down the street and say, oh, there's a coffee shop, there's this, there's that. But there's so much fascinating interest that if you put in the time beforehand that you could share with your audience, things like the fact that it's kind of the birthplace for brewing culture in Japan, that it was a major center for initial trade in Japan, all this stuff that you can get in there if you care about your narrative and you actually make an effort to do a little background research before you make the video, and you have narrative, like mic'd up narrative interwoven with live narrative of you doing whatever it is that you're doing at the place. That's a huge part of making a video better, and that's just a little research, let alone all the differences in filming and everything that you would do while you were there. Yeah, Portugal, Greece. That's so... It is... It's just a wild time that we're in here, guys. It's just a wild time, and it's only going to get crazier, and I hope we don't blow ourselves up. That's always my little mantra is don't blow ourselves up. Don't blow ourselves up. At the end of everything, I just hope we don't blow ourselves up so Aubrey de Grey can continue his research on rejuvenation, and I get a chance to go to another planet one day. I really want to go to another planet one day. No rush. I want to explore much more of the Earth, but I would love to explore other planets. You know, big dreams, big dreams. Oh, man. That is... Not to blow my own horn, but that is a really sweet picture, guys. That is a shitty picture. We'll not pay attention. Oh, that's horrible. That one's okay. That's horrible. What was I thinking? That's horrible. That's cool. That's like a cool... This shows you with the big-ass aperture on it. Depth of field. Look at that glorious bokeh. I got to find myself in the questions here. We're getting really deep here. I was wondering if any opinion on existentialism. What do you think? Is it good or bad? There's not a lot of... I think a lot of things, I guess, which sort of forms like whatever life philosophy I have in this sort of like cloud of thoughts. One leads to the other. It's not always necessarily connected, but I do believe in this concept of belief creating truth, whether you mean that quite literally, in the fact that you say, I believe that I can get up and go and get a glass of water, and so you manifest that, to maybe sort of like underlying principles, like if you believe something that you can manifest it, to you want to get like right down and gritty into it. I think a great example of this is our monetary systems. People forget that the only reason that currency has any value, any currency, is because people believe in it. I think this is a fundamental misunderstanding of Bitcoin, where people say, oh, it's a bubble. It is not a bubble so long as people believe in it. So long as more people prescribe to the fact that Bitcoin is real and it's an important and essential method of currency exchange, it will continue to grow because belief creates truth. I mean, for all arguments and purposes, like our money that we use now, paper money, it shouldn't have as much value as it has because it's not backed by anything. There is no gold standard, and in fact, it can be printed into inflation, into nothingness, but because we believe it has value, it has value. So existentialism to me is something that's very important for the way that I live and go about my personal life. I think that I know, here's one thing that I know for certain. I don't know how things necessarily come into being, but I do know that if you don't do anything, nothing happens. So I think that will is important, as in that is true. Whether we're fated for whatever happens beyond that, whatever other forces are influencing it, if you don't act, nothing happens, and so far as that matters, will matters. So that's where we'll go for that. I do find that stuff really fascinating. Hi, Damien. Welcome to the stream. You're more than welcome, man. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you checking out the content. And yeah, what more can I say? I'd be throwing it out there to the ether if people like yourself didn't appreciate it. So it means the world to me that you tune in to check it out. So thank you very much. I went, well, I visited, again, Drew's coming up again here. I was talking about him before. So, such a formative person in my life. Drew, when I visited him in Kyoto, he took me to Osaka and we watched Pacific Rim. I was like, Drew, you gotta see this movie. It's the quintessential big robots in Japan, although not made in Japan movie that you have definitely got to check out. So we went to Osaka and we watched that movie, but I didn't spend as much time as I would have liked to there because I hear such wonderful things about the openness of the people, how so many creators and artists and musicians come from there, that I bet it would be an incredible city to explore. But sad to say, I just haven't had the chance to do so yet. Another reason why I want to be in Japan. There's so many places yet to visit. Q-sama. Nobody exists on purpose. Nobody belongs anywhere. Everybody's gonna die. Well, you know, don't sugarcoat it for us, Q-sama. Tell us exactly how you feel. Whilst I'm in the Japanese, I'm gonna do some kanji study. My teacher wants me to learn at least 2 new ones. Yeah, you should. 2 a day? That's nothing. That's nothing. All right, Fix Fire. Catch you later. Thank you again for being here, and thank you again for that awesome donation. I really, really appreciate it. I didn't see Shin Gojira. I didn't see that, although it was supposed to be good. I was going to make a YouTube video about curious how to declare that extra income. It's not hard, Damien. You basically, like, when you fill out, there's like a tax thing that you have to fill out. When you set up your YouTube channel, nothing complicated there. Once you fill out that tax thing, then you just declare it on your taxes. It would be slightly different for every country. So yeah, whatever income that you make from that, you just add it to your taxes at the end. It's really, really easy. Surprisingly, like, I mean, it's basically going to take you an afternoon to like read through this stuff, be like, oh, okay, I guess I'm this, announce it as this, blah blah blah, and you're good to go. You're totally good to go. How much is the average Japanese class going to cost? You can find community classes testing for like 500. And 500 yen. I mean, I pay for like a premium teacher. She's awesome. So I pay 1,500 yen per lesson with her. But like, it's insanely worth it. She's done like, the woman is a saint. She's an absolute saint. All good. Goodbye. Catch you later. Eddie Ash. Yes, welcome to the stream, Eddie Ash. Thank you for dropping by, and thanks for checking out the videos. I really appreciate it. Yep, no worries, Tyler. My pleasure to answer the questions. The questions are the lifeblood of the stream, so as many as I can get, that's a good thing. We want as many messages a minute as we can get. We had, at one point, we had like, oh, where are the messages? At one point, we had 7 comments a minute. That was pretty good. Declan asks, what age did you move to Japan? I moved to Japan when I was 28 years old, which for the vast majority of people is later. A lot of people are doing that like fresh, toasty out of university. And so what I've done is kind of unusual. It is the exception. It is not the rule. Pacific Rim 2 looks awesome. It turns me into like such a shameless child, like, and that's what it, you know, that's what I enjoyed so much about the first Pacific Rim, is that it was like, it was that old, I absolutely will, Marshall. I'll copy that into a notepad now. I'm opening Notepad, and I'll copy that in. Watching that video was just like, watching that movie Pacific Rim, it was like the sort of excitement I used to feel when I was young and I would always go to the movies with my dad. My dad was really like awesome for always taking us to movies. He was so into movies when I was young. He had all these VHSs. There was a real magic I felt when I went, and when I watched that movie, I felt that like kind of excitement, the way that immersion in a movie, when you're just totally involved, you're enjoying all of it. You don't even care if it's cheesy. The cheesiness is just right. Like the part in the first Pacific Rim movie where they're like, shit, we're out of weapons. Then he's like, hit the sword button. And I was like, you didn't even care that you were like, they forgot there was a giant sword in this thing. And he like smashes the sword button and he whips out this huge sword. That was, I'm getting giddy just thinking about it. And I think Guillermo del Weirdo is one of the best, most awesome, most creative, most original directors that exists. And I think that's founded on good track record and awesome stuff. I love Hellboy. Hellboy was such an awesome, the first and second were wicked movies. The new one that he's going to do now, which is called, it's like the Creature from the Black Lagoon or whatever it is. It's like a 1950s, like about old monster movie about this like deaf woman who works in the research center that has captured the creature from the Black Lagoon. Like everything he touches turns to weird gold. It's just awesome. Oh, I should have done this before. I guess you could say it's like some collaboration. Robin or Phoenix is a guy who sent me some music. He's been in a few like my older videos now by a couple years. This is his SoundCloud. I really like his music. He's a really talented guy. And I listen to it because it's copyright free and he doesn't mind that I listen to it on my streams. He's just a good guy and he makes great music, so yeah, that's what I put on here. John asks, how much is my monthly rent? Oh, it's sweet. It is damn sweet. My monthly rent is 554,000 yen a month, basically, which is probably around something like $600, roughly $580, $600. Thomas asks, do you have a sense of approximately what percentage of expats in Japan are fluent in Japanese? No, I don't. I really don't. That could also be because I live in the countryside and I don't get out much and all I do is work on YouTube. But I'm not totally sure exactly what that number would be. For college students coming to Japan, how much is your estimated monthly student budget allowance? Oh, Jesus. Saneth, by the way, good luck on the N5 exam. You'll crush it, no problem. I don't know what you would budget for yourself because I don't know how much you would be paying for housing. Yeah, I wouldn't want to just throw you out an answer to that now because I'd want to spend some time on a budget, and I've not done that for if you were a student. What degree do I have? I have a history degree. Oh, hello, Michael. Welcome to the stream. Michael, if you want to know about these streams happening, if you follow me on my social media, whether that's my Instagram, on my Twitter, or on my Snapchat, on all three of those today I posted that I would be doing this stream. So if any of those is something you have, I guess I should also post on the Facebook, shouldn't I? I didn't even think of doing that. If you follow me on any four of those, I basically have those to let people know when things like this are happening. And so if you follow me on those, you'll never miss when I'm going to do one of these because I always try and let people know ahead of time on those. I'm going to be 30 when I move to Japan. You said you moved to Japan later also. Do you think this made it more difficult? Nah, not in the slightest. I mean, I think there's a bit of ageism when you start to get into your, like, mid-40s or early 40s, but no, not in your early 30s. You're totally fine. Totally fine. Which of your current videos is your favorite that you would suggest watch when the stream ends? Let me pull that up. I mean, easily the best video that I've ever made is called Japan: The Beautiful Process. So I would say that's like the easiest one, but then that's sort of a weird one to suggest because a lot of people have seen that one, so it's like, well, I already know that one. Why would you suggest that to me? So if not that one, let me look here at some other ones that I would have done that I was very, very proud of. Oh, living in Japan off the beaten path. That's another one. That's where I go to Nikko, and that was an awesome trip with my buddy Russ, who comes to visit. If you want a beautiful sort of like purely artistic, a guide for letting go. That'll pull at the heartstrings if you're in that mood to have the heart sort of like mended or crushed, or sort of this beautiful sadness, this glorious madness, that kind of feeling. I would say a guide for letting go. Guide for letting go was like definitely one of the best ones I've ever made, and it was reflected, I felt, in the comments as well. Halloween in Japan is another one. Yeah, I definitely like that. It's making me feel better, actually, talking about this now, because I'm like, there's definitely, as I look back, I'm like, yeah, there was some ones, like, there's enough here that I can be like, yeah, I've been making shit that I'm proud of. I'm not just pumping out garbage. Here, I'll put a guide for letting go in the stream. That's, like, maybe the most cinematic. Although there's a few more. There's Cherry Blossom Park. Okay, if you want to see, like, okay, if your thing is like beautiful Japanese traditional architecture, there's the Machiya, the Kyoto house tour that I did. That one, I was surprised did not get more views. I think I just straight up should have called it Japanese apartment tour, and then people found out when they watched it. I think I maybe too nicheified it by calling it a Machiya and all that stuff. Oh, the time that I have testing with her, it's an hour and a half lesson I do each week. Dave Francis asks, how long do I think that I will remain in Japan? For the foreseeable future. Life changes. Who knows what happens? And yeah, in the foreseeable future. I was like thinking and reading at the same time. That messed me up. Yeah, Marshall, exactly. The people don't actually stop to think about what gives money value. The reason that anything has value is because people believe. They believe it has value. That's the only reason. And so in this way, that's kind of like the only way that anything happens anywhere is because people believe it. We could completely change our whole paradigm of thinking of whatever we pursued beyond the necessary physical requirements that we have to actually live and breathe. But in terms of our societal structure, it all exists because of belief. Anyways, that was a little departure from the conversation. The kaiju with the little girl, also excellent scene. Yep, the Machiya house video has 18,000 views. Which is good. I'm like, yay, 18,000 views. But everybody knows that apartment tours can explode on YouTube. I mean, the reason that I actually got any viewership at all, I got any, is because I made that video. At the time, I didn't know that they were so popular, but I made an apartment tour video, and it has 500 and... It's got like 500,000 views now, where I'm like, it's a shitty apartment tour video of a Leo Palace. Oh my god. But it had that quality, that viral quality. And so it did really, really well. So that's why it killed me when I did this like beautifully edited cinematography, like thought out storyboarded Machiya house tour of this beautiful place in Kyoto, and then got 18,000 views. So it's just like, ow, ow, ow. But it's a labor of love. So I roll, I dodge, I make better. Abe Sapien, awesome character. The Cherry Blossom one, Mark, is awesome because it features a band. I couldn't monetize it because I was like, no, I don't care if I don't get money for this. I so desperately want to use this song. It's such a beautiful, like, love song. It's called Red by Foria. And it's like, man, it's like, it's just so beautiful. Fits the, you know, fits it perfectly. Dave, I know I asked already, but which day in December works best for you? Like I was saying, Marshall, send me a list of dates in Patreon. Send me a list of dates and we'll like choose one that works best. Because it would be nice to even have that kind of like schedule written down anyways. Yeah, it's fascinating stuff, right? Testing. I mean, I'm not saying, like, there's a sort of thing, and I think it could be easily mocked, that, like, that book that was written called, like, The Secret, where it's like, you just need to think of what you want, and it'll be drawn towards you. Where I'm like, no, it's not as simple as that. That's not what I'm ever saying when I say that belief creates truth. Belief still requires action, but action is a result of will. It's a result of belief. There was an awesome book that I read. This is Watch the Watching Plummet, as I get into a discussion of neurology, called the Brain and the Human Mind, and it made this like fascinating observation of how the way that light behaves, the quantum behavior of light, is observable in a number of different elements in the world. And one such element to share this quantum behavior, where it exists in a superposition, it basically, light before it's observed exists in multiple potentialities. I hope this isn't too rough for anybody to understand, but before light is observed, basically it's doing everything at once, and it's when you observe it that it collapses down to one potentiality, one thing that it behaves as. And another element, another substance that behaves in this exact same way is calcium. And calcium is what's responsible for the neurotransmitter links between your synapses. And so this guy was suggesting in this book, he's a psychologist, neuroscientist, that our will is actually quantum. Which I was like, oh, that's so crazy. And it's like, it's this idea that before action, before you act out a will, all potentials are possible. And then when you act, you draw whatever super potential existed for your life, you collapse the super potential waveform into a single wave, a potentiality, and you proceed out into your life. But then it is that your will is directing that potentiality, that the superpositions of potential that is available for you. And the fact that it's directly observable that you have like a quantum behaving substance in the thing that acts out your will, and that you have this calcium in your brain that's responsible for your neurotransmitter transmission, it just seemed like so much more than a coincidence when I read this book, where I was like, you know, maybe there really is something to be said for the power of will and the power of your mind and the power of action, as to like not to, I mean, it literally alters reality. Like, I mean, you could say that you're doing that, like, when you pick up, when you take a drink of water, you're literally altering reality. As you behave at any extent in reality, you're altering it. But then, when you get into the, like, into that's like at a basic level, but then you think about how you can use that to change your life through action, through practice, through will. It's really, really exciting. I'm just like, if somebody just like jumped into the stream now, they're gonna be like, I thought the drugs weren't allowed in Japan. Maybe yeah. I can do this now. I can talk about this stuff now. I don't know if I could talk about this stuff if my channel were more popular. It would turn into one of those like Jim Carrey, where like Jim Carrey got into some weird shit the other day. Did you see him talking about that crazy stuff? It's more like for one-on-one discussion. I don't know if it's for like public forum that this stuff should come out. But The Brain and the Human Mind. Check out that book. It's really, really good. Hey Saneth, if you sent me an email, I've responded to all emails. I'm obviously not gonna pull it up on the main screen, but I have responded. I am entirely caught up, so if somebody sent me an email, they should have a response. Oh, okay, well, I got one new email. But no, if you sent me an email, it should be responded to now. I saw it, though. I dropped like 6 subscribers. They're like, Dave's smoking something. Not sure how you stumbled upon the content, but you're a subscriber for a while. Thank you very much, Fujiwara. Appreciate it. And Q-sama, you found me because of TKO Sam. Ah, yes. Good old Sam. Mountain of a man, that's Sam. Mountain of a man. Oh, man. Oh, talked myself into back pain. Oh, God. Actually, I'd like to...
Are you in love with anyone else?
What makes you ask that?
I don't know. Are you?
I've been trying to figure out how to talk to you about this.
How many others?
641.
What?
Sorry. Again, I'm looking at stuff here.
Theodore, you know, fuck.
Well, here's Lone Wolf. Here's the thing. It's like I said,
I don't know if you believe
to simply will for something to happen. I don't know if I believe in that.
the way it all.
But there's a big difference. Action matters. You're already doing something for the channel to grow.
I am sorry.
Will matters.
I don't know how to.
It matters, but insofar as that action must follow it. Watching my live stream is an active will, and that is helping the channel grow. Like, I wish I knew, you know, like what kind of live stream it took to, like, how popular a live stream needed to be that somebody's channel, somebody's videos would surface more regularly on YouTube. But I certainly know that if they have any chance to surface, then it would be that people would watch things like this. And so you are contributing. You don't need to will me to be better. You're already doing it. You're actually physically doing something that would contribute to the growth of it. Okay. Okay, here's a great example. Again, Mark, we're talking about trying to draw people in who wouldn't necessarily see your stuff. That video is like the very definition. If someone had the perspective that they hate Japan or living in Japan. Oh, why? Why does it do this? It keeps coming on and off. If you have that perspective, this is what I would say about it. Man, that's so frustrating. Okay. And that, at the time when I made that video, because I made it with like a little more of, you know, this poppy, spicy title, so many more people came to the channel. I saw way more views than I'd ever seen before. So I was like, screw integrity. I'm just going to make these clickbaity videos. No, just kidding. I wasn't going to do that, but it definitely opened my eyes, at least a little bit at that time, that you don't need to compromise your principles, but you don't need to be completely stupidly ignoring the fact that a more broadly appealing title is going to work well for your channel. You found Sam through me. That's fascinating. I would never have thought, because Sam's one of the old hands, right? Sam's been doing this stuff, and Sam's had some really amazing success recently because of action, because of willed action, that he had one of his subscribers point out to him that the Raka Raka was here in Japan, and then nobody else had the fluency that Sam had. Sam went in with that baller fluency in the language, hosted those guys, and then he went over to the Raka Raka thing, and now Sam's been in Raka Raka videos that have like millions of views on them, and he went from like 13,000 subs to over 20,000 subs now because of this baller collaboration that he did through will. The will is everything. The will to act.
Get the fuck out!
Okay, I'll go. Tell me what's going on, okay? Tell me what's wrong.
Ah, my, oh my. Okay. All right, guys, I hate to do it. I actually told I've gone a half an hour what I was intending to do here. I am beat. It is 11 o'clock here in Japan, and I want to get up really good and early tomorrow so I can start working on this. I don't want to just talk about making a good video for next week. I actually want to do it. I want to make an awesome video so you guys can tune in and really enjoy some cool stuff. So I should probably get going. Last question, what did you study before moving to Japan? Fujiwara, that was history. I studied history, kind of with an Eastern focus, so I studied a lot of Chinese history and lots of Japanese history in there. But thank you all, everyone, who came to this stream. Thank you as well, again, to the wonderful donators tonight. You guys making it happen, supporting the channel. Everybody here supports the channel in their own way, and I really, really appreciate that. Whether you're watching one video, binge watching another, doing whatever it is that you do, that you participate in the content that I create, I'm eternally grateful for. So thank you very much, everyone, and I'm gonna call it a night. Peace, everybody, wherever you are in the world. Sleep well. Have a great weekend, and I will catch you later. Peace.